will tell you more about Crystal. But
Crystal won't let Steve have nothing
so
at all.
I'm talking to Crystal, and so Crystal's like, bruh, like I thought Megan Thee Stallion had a butt. Look at you. Your butt poking
This
out
is
the
a
check.
Chicky Beat production.
Hey, she's like, how many glute exercises you did all week?
Hey, shout out to Crystal, man.
And here we are. This is the But Peep This podcast.
Yes, sir. Episode 5. What's going on, people?
Episode 5, and we're recording a little bit earlier than we normally do in the week. So some of our information might be a little more Sunday oriented than normal because we're recording on a Sunday instead of a Tuesday.
Let's call this one a special edition.
A special Sunday, yeah.
Because
super special Sunday.
Because we got the man on today. You know, we're fans, and you know, Stephen A. Smith, who was just being now referred to as the other Steve, right? Says that Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. He's really talking about Stephen M. Smith. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I told y'all last week that you would hear 5-3 PC a lot. Well, one more week. Okay. Stephen M. Smith is a writer, he's a journalist, he has his own podcast, In My Own Words, Touchdown Alabama. My friend, Sean's friend, Stephen M. Smith. And you know what? Hold on. Before we go any further, let me tell y'all about Steve, right? So I've known Steve since I was in the 8th grade. Steve was a 10th grader at the time. Dude just walked up with the weird looking glasses, sat down at the table. Yo, what's up from Steve? I was like, all right, this is my guy. Steve told me in the 8th grade that he was going to, Steve told me in the 8th grade that he was going to be the best journalist and sportscaster in the state of Alabama. And then when he got tired of that, he was going to go to ESPN and do the same thing. So if you ask me right now, who in this world I want to be like, there he is right there. Is the biggest role model for this right here, Stephen M. So y'all put some respect on Steve's name, because if you don't, I'm on your ass.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Welcome to the podcast, Steve.
Welcome aboard, Steve.
Hey, man, I'm pumped, man. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here right now. I'm beaming. Like, I'm seriously beaming. So, man, I mean, you already know it's love here. I'm super proud of you and Sean doing this. We've had so many conversations about you doing this, and then to have Sean be a part of it, man, this is it right here.
Yeah, that's high praise coming from you, bro. That's high praise. High praise.
Not bad for two boys from the M, huh?
Yes.
Not bad, man.
I said I'm gonna hit you with a dad joke.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
What do you call two twins missing an eye?
Two twins missing an eye. You got me, man. I don't know.
Identical twins.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh no, Sean, you don't like that one? All right, here we go. I got another one.
I didn't say we need another one, but hey, here we are.
Shut up. You get another one.
All right, here we are.
What do you call plants in the bathroom?
Pea plant?
I don't know.
Toiletries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. One more.
Oh, we got one more. Oh, good Lord. Special 3 this episode. Here we go.
What do you call a song that doesn't show up?
I don't know.
deadbeat.
There you go. Okay. All right. There we go. I'll give you a clap for that one. Good 3 in a row. Fantastic.
All right. We got our laughs in. We good.
We got our
Good.
laughs in. Let's move on to what we probably could have talked about last week, but didn't. That's all good. The NFL draft, which is over at this point. It is in fact over as I am looking at the last of the 7th round picks. So let's talk about it.
Oh. Honestly, my opinion of the draft this year was trash.
Really?
I think it was trash. Like, I don't see, like, I don't think there was anybody who went that I'd build my franchise around.
I mean, I definitely agree with that one. I don't think that's what I don't think anybody would argue that, though. I don't know if anybody would sit there and say, I feel like you'd have a different conversation if you said, say, like Malik Willis went in the 1st round. I feel like you might be having a different conversation there. This is Malik Willis slid all the way to 3rd and went to Tennessee. But I think you got a lot of really good players in this draft.
True. Bailey Zapp got drafted to New England. I don't.
We start with this already.
I will say this in defense of Zappy from Western Kentucky. In his defense, I watched a ton of tape on that kid, and he does have zip on the ball. He layers it in. He mixes speeds. He's got a fastball and a changeup. He can lock that thing in there. The thing that gets me about Zappy is he locks on to his first read way too much. So if you got a corner that can bait that sucker, it's over. That's kind of my only thing where I look at Belichick and go, why did you pick him? And you already have Mac Jones, but why him? But I didn't think this draft is trash. I just thought it was weird because in the 1st round, you had, 20 trades? Like, what the world going on here?
Something insane. Something just insane.
I've never seen that, like 20 trades in the 1st round. And there were several trades that were made, but I went, you traded up to get that, but you could have waited 3 rounds down to get that. So that what threw me off was the trades.
I think one of the trades that threw me off the most was the Ravens trading Hollywood Brown to move up to go select Kyle Hamilton. Now, God. I think personally Kyle Hamilton's probably the best player in this draft. Like when it comes to pure skill, pure talent, like I really like between him and Sauce Gardner. Those are my 2 that I feel like are the best 2 in this draft. Kyle Hamilton is a great player. I think he's going to do a lot of really good things. But if you were to ask me right now, what position in football do I think is more important? I would lean towards wide receiver as opposed to safety.
Yeah.
And I think by making that trade, I think we have now put a clock on Lamar Jackson being in a Ravens uniform.
Yeah, that was one that also kind of had me iffy because I literally thought if the Ravens were going to let go of Hollywood Brown, they would have drafted Drake London. But they did not take Drake London, and London goes to the Falcons, which did somebody knock Arthur Blank in a booth and just said, don't come out? This was the best Falcons draft since Mike Vick. Like you get Drake London, I know people are talking mess about Desmond Ridder, the kid from Cincinnati, but you're already in a much better place than where you were with Matt Ryan.
I actually like Ridder.
I like Ridder too. I always like Ridder. You also got another running back, Tyler Algier, which he was at BYU. I mean, not great, but I mean, you got another running back in there. You got a defensive end. You got a linebacker. You got 2 linebackers and a guard. I mean, they got a lot of really good stuff, and they finally, like, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about Atlanta. If any of these rookies show up, it's going to be a little bit of trouble.
That's why I'm saying, like, did somebody knock Arthur Blank away and said, enough of this mess? the scouts, we're taking over this draft. Because when they picked Drake London first, I was like, oh, smoke, here we go. Here we go. And London, people were concerned about his foot and how he was walking. He's okay. That was not a complete break in his foot. It was a minor fracture. It was a minor hair torque. He'll be okay by minicamp. He'll be okay by training camp. He'll be good to go.
So when you think about it, when you look at the NFC South, right?
Mm-hmm, the NFC South.
It really is up for grabs.
Yeah, 110%. 110%.
Yeah.
Because you got, I don't care what you say, Tom Brady coming back ruined that locker room. So you got Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, who we all know he knows he's past his prime because he retired and he came back.
Well, I think it's been said like this is his last year. I think he's even come out and said like this is it. Like it's this year and then we're done.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. So Tom wanted to leave after this past season, but then he saw that grocery shopping list Giselle had, and when he saw them kids, and he was like, "Bomb, Dad, I'm coming back." Like Arians, get your butt in the booth, man.
He
I ain't
came.
doing Giselle.
He realized I don't really like my kids that much. I don't really like my wife that much. I think I'm gonna go back to work.
Well, I think also like if you look at Tom Brady's family, and I never thought I'd be talking about Tom Brady's family, but here we are. His kids are kind of older, and they're at a point where like they don't want to be around Dad. Don't matter if Dad's Tom Brady. They don't want to be around Dad. They got their own lives to live. So I'm sure there were points where Tom Brady was just sitting at home, just twiddling his thumbs, being like, "What do I do? Like, what is there to do?" For someone who works as hard as he did, I'm sure it was difficult for him to walk away. But that being said, that's not what I think happened. I actually think I know what happened. But it looked like you were about to say something, so I'm going to give you the... Okay, so this is what I think happened. I think it comes down... This is kind of a prolonged thing. I don't think this is a very one-size-fits-all type of problem. So I think there was tension in general when Tom Brady came into Tampa. Because you think about Belichick's system and Belichick's culture and everything. It's very rigid, very hard. Like, this is what we do. We work hard. You know, like, this is what things are. Like, no one is greater than the team. Like, this is just what we're doing. And then you look at Bruce Arians and his system. I'm not going to say I like or dislike Bruce, because I feel like there's some things going on there that maybe we're not talking about right now, but probably will come up as time goes on. But Bruce Arians does not run as tight of a ship as Bill Belichick does. I don't really think that's something to argue there. And for a person who has been doing something the same way for 20 years, that has run a system for 20 years, you go into a scenario in which things are a lot looser, you already start problems. I think you have that coupled with he made a true connection in Byron Leftwich, which why that man does not have a head coaching job right
Byron
now
Leftwich
blows
should be a
my
head coach.
mind.
I agree.
I want to know what happened when he went to New Orleans and interviewed with New Orleans and why they didn't take him. I want to know what happened, because I don't know. This is crazy to me. But I think he made a true connection in Byron Leftwich. And I think that the Antonio Brown scenario is kind of what set a lot of these scenarios in motion. Because if you notice, when Tom Brady responded about what the Antonio Brown, like throwing his stuff in the stands and everything like that,
yeah,
he didn't outright come out and say Antonio Brown was wrong. And he also didn't come outright and say that Bruce Arians didn't do something wrong there either. He kind of said like this thing of like, yeah, well, if he did all that, he probably had a reason, That tells me that stuff's going on there. I know Tom Brady's very media trained, like, he's very good at what he does. But that's a very interesting way to put that. So what I think happened is this. I think Tom Brady and Bruce Arians didn't get along, similar to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick not getting along, which I think in a couple years, I would like to have a conversation about Tom Brady being a bit of a diva, personally. But we could get into that one a little bit later.
We've established that you're the diva.
I mean, that's fine. He could be on the same level as me. I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, but Sean, think about it. He's a kid from California. I mean, Tom Brady's a kid from California, went to Sarah High School. The 49ers shafted him by not drafting him. They took Giovanni Carmazzi, who's now a GOAT yoga instructor, or whatever the heck he's doing now. So, Tom is still holding grief and saltiness from that. So that's why he probably has this mentality, because in the 2000s draft, he's thinking, you're going to take Carmazzi over me? Yeah. And I'm right back here in your backyard. And you're going to take Carmazzi?
I mean, I mean, the only reason I bring that up is because we as fans have a tendency to really go against like players such as like Hollywood Brown, AJ Brown, when they come out and say, hey, I want trades, I don't get along with these people, and we like rail on them constantly. But Tom Brady has had 2 head coaches, and in both scenarios, it's becoming clear that he did not get along with them. You can call it, whatever, but you're talking about 2 polar opposite people. But going back to what I think happened, I think all of that happened. Tom and Bruce Arians did not get along. It was said, I had read something somewhere that like Bruce Arians, or like Tom would go to Bruce and be like, hey, like I need a game plan. And Bruce was like, I don't have one yet. And this would be like Tuesday. And Bruce was like, I don't put out game plans till like Wednesday or Thursday. And like Tom had a problem with that. And I think that's what caused him to leave in the first place. I think he was like, you know what? This has gone on for 2 years. I got what I needed out of this. I'm done. I'm out. This is what it is. Then he went home and he was sitting at home. And then I think he was like, and then you also had the entire thing that has come out with Miami about how they were going to trade him to Miami and then get Sean Payton to also come to Miami. And then Tom Brady was going to be a minority owner of the Dolphins in Miami. And we were going to lead into that. Then that didn't happen. And then it became apparent that like, because of the whole Brian Flores scenario. And so then it becomes apparent that Tom Brady was still not done with football, but he wanted out from Bruce Arians. So what does Tampa do? And then also, while all of this is going on, Tom Brady's up going to a Manchester United game or some kind of football game. And everybody's sitting there like, why is he going to like the soccer game? And it turns out that the owner of that soccer league or that soccer team is the same owner that owns the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Taser family, yeah.
The Taser family. So then you go, and then like a week later, now Bruce Arians gets moved up into the front office, which he has gone on record saying he has never wanted to do. In fact, in his press conference, he even made a comment that was like, oh, well, I guess I can go play golf at like 3:00 now instead of like the normal like 6. Like he said something along those lines. And then now Tom Brady gets to move back into his position. They move in Todd Bowles, who is Bruce Arians' best friend. So it was like all these pieces were falling apart and they kind of like media glued it together. But I say all of that to say I don't think it's going to stay together throughout the season. And I feel like that's what's going to lead to Tampa's downfall in the end.
I mean, it's all just really intriguing especially when you look at Tom and how meticulous he is. And then, Bruce is the type of guy, he's going to have a cocktail. He's going to go out. He's probably going to get high at some point. Bruce is Bruce. But it's just kind of the story of Tom. But just going back to the whole NFC South, I look at this. Are the Saints gonna go all in on Winston? Do they have a quarterback that they would much rather go all in on? Because to me, the Panthers saying we believe in Sam Darnold, that's not gonna work. So I mean, are the Saints locked in on Jameis? or have they found somebody else?
It seems as if they're locked in on Jameis. So if you look at what the Saints drafted, you also get that idea that, hey, this is the guy. Their top 2 picks were a wide receiver and an offensive tackle. Wide receiver being not only a wide receiver that the Saints wanted, that legitimately I called about 3 months ago saying that the Saints are going to pick Chris Olave. Michael Thomas wanted Chris Olave.
And they're both from Ohio State. Yep, here we go.
Yes, the Saints have had, fun fact about the Saints, they have had in their history, they have had 40 players with the Chris Olave draft from Ohio State. They have drafted 40 people from Ohio State, which,
explains the 1 Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't think we had any of those players when we drafted all the Ohio State people, to be honest with you. So that could have something to do with it.
I'm trying to make.
I mean, I think also there are other factors in there as well, but hey, whatever. Call it what it is.
We'll talk about why I'm a Saints hater after this episode.
By all means, I gotta choose my words carefully here. I would say I'm a pretty diehard Saints fan. I'm not a delusional Saints fan. You'll very rarely hear me walk in any season and go, "Yo, guys, this is the year." Perfect example, Lionel. How many games did I say the Saints, or just give me a range of how many games that the Saints will win this past year?
None.
I didn't say none. I never would have said that. I said like 6. I thought it was a 6-win season.
I thought I heard you say none.
Yeah, okay. Lionel's unreliable from this point on. But I think they're all in on Winston for this year. His contract is done after this year. And I think they move on to something else in the future. I do think that the Saints were all in on Russell Wilson. I still strongly believe that was a very hotly looked at scenario. So I think they put a lot of their chips into that. And when it didn't play out, they were like, well, we still got Winston. But Ian Book's not it. Taysom Hill, I don't think Dennis Allen actually likes Taysom Hill as much as Sean Payton did. And I think that's becoming apparent as well, because Sean Payton leaves, Dennis Allen comes in, and now Taysom Hill's a tight end. So you also brought in Andy Dalton, which I don't think anybody at this point. There are some Saints fans who were sitting there and were like, "Oh, when Dalton came in, oh, that's our new starter." I don't think any rational person who follows football at this point looks at Andy Dalton and goes, "Oh, when the team brings him in, that's the starter now." I don't think that's what we're doing at all.
Look, Andy Dalton, look, Red Rifle from TCU was past his prime. I mean, early Andy Dalton with AJ Green in Cincinnati, it was pretty decent. But once AJ Green started getting injured, and Andy, no.
So only one playoff team is going to come from the NFC South.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that one.
No wild card.
No,
it'll be a very lackluster NFC South. Anyway,
it's going to stay that way for a while.
Let's talk. Let's go back to the draft. Sean, you had mentioned earlier in an earlier conversation.
I mentioned in an earlier conversation we had.
Yeah, about how when you see, for quarterbacks, for example, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to use AJ McCarron for an example.
Okay.
AJ McCarron was one of the best quarterbacks in college football when he was playing.
I agree with that.
AJ McCarron was balling out.
Yeah.
Why did he get drafted so low? Everybody in the point, oh, well, this is the pros, this is college. Well, everybody in the pros had to go to college. Everybody in the pros did 3 years. in the college at least, because that's the rule. So a player like Justin, what's his name? Malik Willis. I was gonna call him Justin Willis.
Yeah, Malik Willis.
He only has one recordable year of stats. Nobody was watching Liberty, before the pandemic.
It's true.
Right? But then you got, for example, AJ McCarron played 3 years of college ball and won 2 ships in 3 years. Back to back. Johnny Manziel went first round.
That he did. That he did. There was a particular, then you had a scenario like this in this draft where there was a particular defensive tackle. I'm trying to find him right now that went like 4th or 5th round, and he had like the most amount of tackles like this season. Like it was something like he went 4th or 5th round. He had like the most amount of tackles. And yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say this. What's weird about the draft is people put more focus on potential and traits than actual production. They put more focus on, well, he has the traits to be this, even though he may not have no production, period. Case in point, you look at the number 1 overall pick, Trayvon Walker out of Georgia, the defensive end.
Exactly
the dude 19 tackles last season. But because of his freakish traits, he's 6'4.5", 260, tremendous edge, bending technique, great burst, great get off. Because of his traits, they feel like, okay, he should be able to transition into being an elite pass rusher in the pros, even though he doesn't have the production in college. That's one of the things that kind of eggs me is, don't you want to have both? Do you not want to have the traits as well?
He could be that guy, but this guy is that guy.
Right. But when you look at a lot of these prognosticators, the Mel Kiper Jr.'s, the Todd McShays, who, by the way, only have a 5% hit rate on their mock drafts anyway, but they get paid to do these mock drafts because people are gung-ho about, oh my gosh, Kiper put this, oh my gosh, McShay, put it out. But they only have a 5% hit rate. And then once you get past the number 1 pick anyway, it's a free-for-all. Yeah. So I don't understand why people don't put focus on traits, well, production as well as traits, but they go, but he has production, but he's got the traits. So those traits are going to transition. But where's the production? That's like, yeah, I got a steak, but the oven ain't hot. What you mean?
But the oven can get hot. The skillet is already hot.
Exactly. And I think you do see that with the Trayvon Walker scenario. And I'll tell you, I don't have anybody on here that can vouch for me, but there are people out there who have vouched that I said about a month ago it's that the Jags are going to take Trayvon Walker, even though they shouldn't. I don't think that they should, but they're going to do it.
Oh, God, you're the Georgia hater too.
No, I'm not a Georgia. No, and the reason why is I don't think there are a lot of people out there who said that they shouldn't take Trayvon Walker. And the reason why you don't take Trayvon Walker is because Trayvon Walker is incredible when it comes to size. But again, it goes back to those 19 tackles. Like you had 19 tackles over 2 seasons. That's not good. That's really bad. So what's going on there? Again, you're bigger than everybody that's there. If I'm not mistaken, it was Trayvon Walker who got locked up by like the Michigan line. I don't think he got any tackles in that game. I don't think he really did well in that game. And so I think. Go ahead.
But I think a lot of this too, Sean, is also NFL Combine hype, right? Because you go to the underwear. You go to the underwear Olympics at Lucas Oil Stadium, and you're being timed in all of these. And so Trayvon Walker, freak athlete. I mean, he timed well in the 40. He timed well in the vertical. He timed well in the 3-cone. He timed well in everything. Now, his running mate, Nakobe Dean, way better player, way more production, but you saw Nakobe Dean fall. Why? did not necessarily wow out in front of masses of media at the combine.
Cool.
But because Trayvon Walker goes haywire at the combine, folks like, oh my God, she's the greatest thing since Teddy Graham. You got to take him first. Even though he doesn't have the production.
Love it. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I do now. I will say this. I know everybody was saying that Jacksonville was going to pick an edge rusher, and I'm starting to move away from the conversation of you have to have an elite edge rusher to do something in this league. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm not ready to have that one yet, but it is something I've been thinking about more.
Because I was just about to tell you to elaborate.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything yet, but I think there's more of a focus being put on offense than there is anything else, and so I think we're starting to move in a direction where the number one pick is going to be a wide receiver, like within the next 2 years, and I'll put that, like, it won't be next year because it's going to be a quarterback. But it could be the year after that. I think it's very possible. But with all that being said, I wasn't really big on any of the defensive ends that they had the top three. The person who I think is the best would be Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon. I do think that he is the better raw talent of a player, has more of those skills, but there's a big red flag over him, which is those injuries. It's a huge problem, and so I get it.
Well, I see two. I see injuries, and the second red flag would be how important is football to Kayvon. Because when you hear Kayvon talk, he's almost like he's more so business outside of football than actual football. And then when you watch a lot of the Pac-12 games, and I'm saying when he was against big competition, the Stanfords, the USCs, the UCLAs, Thibodeau shrunk a little bit. Like, he wasn't getting after the quarterback as much as if Oregon was playing those lesser tier opponents. So for me, Kayvon kind of reminds me of Jadeveon Clowney. When Clowney was taking on those big teams, Clowney was getting after it. But then when Clowney would face a Georgia, Alabama, Florida, you were like, where the heck is Clowney? So that's my same thing with Kayvon. It's, do you show up every single week? Like, we're paying you, you're a top 5 pick. So you're getting paid the north of $30-40 million. So are you going to give me that production every week? Or is it going to be a game where I turn on the tape and I'm going, where are you at? Like, bro, like, you MIA, like, where the money at? Like, where is you? Yeah. And I don't see you blowing stuff up.
And I also think that him going to the Giants is going to create a further problem with that for sure.
Can we swap them out for like the Toronto like Argonauts or something? Can we swap them out, the Giants, like for a team in Canada?
Okay, and the only reason why I'm gonna agree with your point is it me or did Wayne Krebet do the Jets draft? This was the best Jets draft I've seen in a long. To get Sauce Gardner, did they get Garrett Wilson too?
They got Garrett Wilson.
Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, the freak defensive lineman from Florida State. I mean, did Wayne Krebet, former Jet great, just walk into the draft war room and did the whole draft for them?
I don't know. They did all of that to go 6-11 next year.
But even if they go 6-11 next year, that's a major improvement from where they were last year.
6-11.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's like with me. I got Jacksonville winning about 6 games. Like, I got Jacksonville winning about 6 games, and that's fine. But that's doubling the wins that we've had for X amount of time. Steve, where'd you go?
Where the hell did Steve go?
Oh, there you are. All right. I was like, what happened? We're looking up at the lights.
We'll have to bring Steve on after the preseason and before the regular season to do the NFL.
Yeah, I agree.
Predictions. That's what we're gonna have to do.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it for sure. So
my wife just walked in the room.
Hey. Oh no, you good.
What's up?
Thank you.
Steve's getting married, y'all, by the way.
Oh yeah. Steve's getting married.
Welcome to the club, big guy.
Hey, for real. So
I'm
funny
not
story.
married, but
As I'm getting down yesterday on one knee, to propose, I ripped my pants in the front, and I felt they ripped in the front. I'm like, this is my favorite pair of khakis, man. As I'm having a conversation with, of course, she said yes, and it was awesome. So I'm having a conversation with my sister Crystal, and Lana will tell you more about Crystal. But
Crystal won't let Steve have nothing
so
at all. Nothing.
I'm talking to Crystal, and so Crystal's like, bruh, like, I thought Megan Thee Stallion had a butt. Look at you. Your butt poking out in them khaki pants. Hey, she's like, how many glute exercises you did all week? I'm like,
Hey, shout out to Crystal, man. Crystal keeps Steve on his toes, man. As long as I can. Yes, I am recording.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's fantastic.
Don't you love married life?
love that married life.
So it actually reminds me of one of the funniest moments that I've had with Steve. Right? Y'all want to hear about the time Steve sold himself into a football game? I'm gonna tell you.
I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this.
All right. We were playing Dallas County. Dallas County was destroying us. It was like 50-6, third quarter. We're getting killed. Good old wishbone.
Love that wishbone offense, man.
And it's like, oh, nobody's gonna stop the wishbone. All right, 5-man front, 2 linebackers.
Yeah, that's done. That's it.
Literally stopped. 4-4-4 stopped. Hell, a team played us in a 3-3-5 and literally brought 6 players every time, and that stopped the wishbone. Had 5 players in coverage at all times and literally beat us with just 6 people up front in the wishbone. Anyway,
that's crazy.
On the sideline, Steve is Steve. Steve usually, when we're losing 100-0, Steve is hopping up and down. Let's go. Looking for Steve. Steve ain't hopping up and down. I was like, I guess Steve gave up today. Then next thing you know, I look down, look up, Steve's standing right next to me. Helmet on, he clipped up, and we are offense. And Steve was like, I'm tired of this, man. And I was like, I bet you are. Referee blew the whistle, put the ball down, hit the little run the clock thing. Steve counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And he just ran onto the field. And so, I couldn't, go, Steve, no, because I didn't care. I thought it was hilarious.
Steve, no.
Steve, no, no, like in the movies.
Oh my God.
Everybody's on the sidelines like, who the hell is number 15? That's Steve. Steve, get out of the game, Steve.
Oh my God.
Listen, ran whatever route he wanted to run. And then, of course, they didn't throw the ball. But Steve fast. Steve got some speed. Steve could have made something shake on that. And then when he got off the field, he took his helmet off, put it on the bench, started back hopping around. Let's go. It's like, I guess Steve needed to get that off his chest.
Steve just decided, he was like, nah,
I'm tired of it.
I'm over this.
So
oh shit.
The funniest part about all of that was, so on the play in question, Jaquan Bates, we called him Jeep. Jeep got hurt. And so they was helping Jeep off the field. So in my mind, I'm going, no one's going to replace Jeep. No one's going in. All right. So I go in. I go in. And I run a 9, a straight go route. I'm wide open. I'm looking at our quarterback, Torrance Herring. I'm like, Torrance, we got souls. I'm looking dead at him like, Torrance, I'm wide open. I'm wide open. Torrance sees me, nearly wide open. He's going to pull the ball down, pick up about 6 yards, gets hit out of bounds. I go to Torrance. I'm like, why didn't you throw me the ball? He like, you a decoy. Your job is just to run.
What? Jeez.
Decoy.
Jeez.
And then, when it made it embarrassing, Coach Jackson acting like he cared. So Coach Field, Steve, what you doing in the game? Ain't gonna pull me. So what you doing? What you doing in the game? Why you got in the game, Steve? Steve, why you got in the game? Why you just have to help? I'm like, Coach, you ain't gonna put me in? What was I supposed to do?
Call my shot. Steve called his shot. I would never forget that.
That's great. No, that's freaking fantastic. I love that.
Then
I love that.
He went. Not only did he sub himself in, he subbed himself in as the X receiver. He
said, "I am the star of the show.
I
am the star of the show."
He was on. It was the my.
And the thing is, Steve's entire life could have been different if they had thrown him that ball and he had caught that pass. It would have been
75, 80-yard touchdown.
That would have been.
Yes, I could have got a scholarship. You played D1 ball.
Steve was going to Alabama anyway. Steve knows.
Steve was gonna walk on to Alabama. That's what Steve was
going to do. Walk on kicker. Like
something.
Speaking of Alabama, are we ready to move on from the draft? I mean, I think overall when it comes to the draft, it's a lot of wait and see. We got to see if any of these players are going to turn out to be what they're going to be. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be successful. It's hard to not be successful in that scenario. I think he's in the best scenario possible. I think Sauce Gardner is going to be absolutely incredible. I think Olave is going to do really well for the Saints. That's about where my thoughts are. We'll see about everybody else. I think Desmond Ritter will start in Atlanta in like a year or two.
My thought.
I will say that too.
Man,
I mean, it's very,
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is 10 years in the making. Right. So apparently when about being I don't know what I'm talking about.
When you call me out about what? You cut out.
Being an Alabama hater.
Being an Alabama hater. Okay.
It's just whatever. You just okay.
Yeah.
Steve does this for a living.
Steve does do it for a living. And can we make something very clear before we start this fight? Can we please make this very clear? Okay. I am not a football expert in any way, Chipper. I am an expert in no things. There is nothing that you could tell me I am an expert in. Well, except swimming. I did call myself an expert in swimming recently, because I have been doing this for a while. However, I'm just gonna say it.
Steve is.
Steve is very much so the expert in this scenario. So Steve is probably gonna hit me with a shit ton of numbers and everything like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't got none of that. But here we go.
So when you lose this, will you stop trash talking Alabama football?
No.
I would, man, I wouldn't expect Sean to stop, because I mean that's the great thing about this sport is everybody's got their opinion.
All right, Sean, you're an Alabama hater.
Why am I an Alabama? So I round out my Alabama hatred to three main things. Number one, I'm a former LSU fan and a Louisiana person, right? Number two, seeing point number one, Nick Saban himself, or as we like to call him in Louisiana, Nick Satan. And number three, I think legitimately they are not good for the sport. Those are my three main things about Alabama football.
Okay, Steve, hold on 1 second, Steve. What's so bad about Nick Saban?
What's so bad about Nick Saban? Well, to understand the hatred that a Louisiana person has for Nick Saban, you got to go back to, was it 2004? Right? Something like that, 2003. Wins us the national championship. Does great. Goes on TV and is like, and I think the next like year he didn't do as well. And then the following it was kind of but he went on TV and he was like told everybody, he's like, my daughters go to school in Baton Rouge, said we're gonna stay here for the long term. There's nowhere we're going and all this other stuff. And then about a month later, he packs up and leaves and goes to Miami. Left us high and dry, gone. Similar to what what's his name? Louisville coach that got in a car accident or they got in a motorcycle. Yeah, similar to what Bobby Petrino did with Atlanta. He literally said, "You're gonna have a coach," and then bounced, which I think is a very classless thing to do.
He said you gonna have a coach. It didn't say it was gonna be him.
That it don't matter. It's still very classless.
So,
however, hold on. Yeah, ask me a question. Let me finish real quick. So he goes to Miami, right? Does his thing in Miami, goes 6-10. Louisiana people are like, all right, serves his ass right, does what he does. Then he goes and leaves Miami and goes to fucking Alabama, which is legitimately like if like Sean Payton would have left and gone to fucking Atlanta. It's literally like it's about it. Like it would be like for us Louisiana people, it would be like if Magic Johnson had said, you know what, I'm good on all this Lakers stuff. I'm gonna go to Boston. Like we're talking like that kind of scenario.
So 2 things.
Okay.
Number 1, Nick Saban left Michigan State where he was the head coach to come to LSU. Mm-hmm. So he did it to Michigan State first. So call me tits. Number 2, Nick Saban actually has a winning record at Miami.
Okay.
So he didn't suck as the Dolphins head coach.
I mean, he went 6-10 for the first season. So I mean, I don't really know.
Saban has a winning record as the Miami Dolphins.
He could have I didn't say he didn't have a winning record. I didn't say he sucked. I said he had a 6-10
Well,
you
didn't say that he didn't have a winning record. You just said he went 6-10.
You're not going to find praise from me with Nick Saban. That's just not going to happen.
I get
if that's what you're trying to search for. That's not happening.
I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is
what we doing here.
Get your numbers right.
Did he have a season where he went 6-10 as Miami's head coach?
He did.
Okay, then I didn't say anything
Absolutely.
wrong. I didn't say anything wrong.
Right. But I was just adding on and letting he actually left Miami with a winning record.
Fantastic.
He didn't do horrible at Miami. He just didn't win the Super Bowl.
Fantastic.
Okay.
An excellent job. Wonderful from Nick Saban.
That's all right. I'm gonna let Steve get out your ass since you don't want to hear nothing from me.
I'll say this. So you can't blame Coach Saban for leaving LSU. If you're going to blame somebody for Nick Saban being at Alabama, you blame Mal Moore. Mal Moore was the athletic director at the University of Alabama, God rest his soul, from 1996 to 2013. He was the AD. Mal Moore literally sees Alabama football in absolute shambles post Bear Bryant, post Jinx Stallings. So this is Mike DuBose, this is Dennis Franchione, this is Mike Price and them darn strippers, this is Mike Shula. So he sees the program in absolute shambles. And Mike and Mal Moore's in his office like, what in the world do I do? He's trying to figure out, okay, who can put us back to where we were post this, pre this mess that's going on? And so this leads Mal to hop on a plane to go to Miami to have a conversation with Coach Saban. Now, at first, Coach Saban wouldn't even budget. He was going to stay right there in Miami. Like, Coach was not hearing what Mal Moore had to say. And Mal Moore was kind of pumping Nick Saban up. Nick Saban wasn't feeling none of that. So then Mal goes, okay, I can't get the man. let me try to work on his wife, and then the wife can get him. So Mal starts talking to Miss Terry Saban. And it's through Miss Terry Saban that got Nick to come to Alabama. Because Nick was not going to come just off Mal. It took Mal talking to the wife. And then the wife convinces Nick, baby, let's just go and bet the college football. Let's just go ahead and bet the college football. So if you're going to blame somebody, you would put the blame on a dead man, that being Mal Moore.
You gonna blame a dead man, Sean?
No, I'm not going to blame the dead man, because let me make something very clear. I am not upset that Mick Saban. That's what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him Mick Saban for this. I'm not upset that Mick Saban left LSU just because he left LSU. I'm upset because of this, because he did it in the same way that Bobby Petrino did, and we look at Bobby Petrino as being a devil, and Nick Saban as being like the savior to college football.
Well, I would say this. Some people look at him as the savior of college football. Others look at him as, can this man retire already?
I am one of those people.
So there's a split down the middle. When you look at Nick Saban, it's like the Israelis and the Palestinians in one home. It's some people, they worship at the church of Nick Saban. Some people, can this man just fall off a cliff? So it's literally dead down the middle. Now, to your point on, I think he's bad for college football.
We haven't even gotten there yet, but I got you.
I'll say this. I don't think he's bad for college football, because if he was, there would not be so many different obstacles being thrown at him. You got to go back to when Saban first got to Tuscaloosa. He was told, bruh, it'll take you 6 years to just win one in Tuscaloosa. He did that in half the time. Then it was, okay, bruh, you ain't gonna be able to recruit worth nothing. So then he starts getting all these number one classes to start off with Julio Jones, then back on 08. So then they go, okay, bruh, we'll split the recruiting period in half. This is gonna really mess you up. So we're gonna take the recruiting period. We're gonna make it an early recruiting period in December, and then the traditional recruiting period in February. And that's gonna really jack you up, because you're not gonna get the kids you want to get. Then Saban starts to manipulate that. Then they go, okay, boom, transfer portal. You're going to lose kids. And because you're going to lose kids, Nick Saban, that's going to hurt you. Well, Nick Saban loses kids, but he doesn't lose the top 1% of those kids, like your Bryce Youngs and your Will Andersons and those guys. He loses the kids buried on the depth chart, but he go gets your best kid and beats you with your best kid. So then they go, well, darn. Well, Saban will lose coaches. Okay, Saban loses coaches, but he pulls coaches from the NFL. So it's like, they're fine. The college football is trying to find different avenues to push Saban out the door. It's not the fact that he's bad for college football. It's the fact that, okay, this man winning. So what can we possibly do?
This is my number one problem with Alabama fans.
You forgot
it's my number one problem. This point right here.
Hold on, Sean. You forgot to, Steve. The BCS.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And NIL.
I was gonna get to NIL now.
Steve, Nick Saban literally said, hey, if y'all don't fix this NIL, I'm gonna fix it for you. Ain't no college football program in the country pulling in University of Alabama money. Period. If we're about to start like paying players and players get NIL deals.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. I only see two areas that can put up where Alabama is concerned. Two. Number one, Texas. Oil, power brokers, tycoons, billionaires. Texas and Texas A&M, yeah. But the only question with those two schools is, number one, is this going to put Steve Sarkisian back to drinking? And then number two, in terms of Jimbo Fisher, will Texas A&M be patient with him? Because they're getting the money. I mean, $30 million with the NIL brought them the number one class, but will Jimbo continue to go 8-4 and eventually be fired? So that's the case with Jimbo.
I was about to bring that up. But go ahead.
And then you look at Southern California, USC.
That was going to be the one
So,
I was going to give you that comp.
With Lincoln Riley over there and the whole situation with the kid from Pitt, Jordan Addison, who wants to go to USC because of Silicon Valley, tech savvy, big money over there, that's going to be crazy also. But those are the only two areas I see that can put up. Now, Georgia's having the conversation. We can put up. You're not going to put up Georgia. Georgia, you are not going to put up anything remotely close.
You're missing one more. But
We'll be the one.
We'll get to it in a minute. Miami.
I can only see Miami if a couple of factors get involved. Number one, Uncle Luke Campbell from 2-9 Crew. If Uncle Luke get involved, yeah, I can see it. And then number two, if Trick Daddy get involved.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Trick Daddy.
Lord of mercy.
If Trick Daddy get involved, then I can see it.
We'll get into that conversation later. And this goes to my, again, I stand on my point that Nick Saban is bad for college football. Because my number one complaint with Alabama fans isn't the fact that, and let me make something clear. I wasn't born in Alabama, but I lived like the first year or two of my life in Alabama. My dad worked in Alabama for a while. I went to college in Alabama. I'm very familiar with this state. Number one, a lot of the Alabama fans can't fucking read. Let's start there, right? So we got this magical thing in our head about that, we just skew numbers just to do it. We also have lacked the reading comprehension levels because Alabama fans see all the changes happening in college football as, oh, this happening because of Nick Saban. Nick Saban's the one doing it. When in reality, the sport has to evolve.
This is true. It does.
The BCS wasn't instated or wasn't removed or whatever the hell it was because of the fact that they wanted Alabama to not win as much. That conversation started long ago when number one Florida faced number 3 LSU for the national championship when number 2 was not an SEC school. That was when a lot of these conversations began to happen of there's something wrong with the system.
Florida never played LSU for a national title.
Florida didn't play LSU for a national title.
No.
No.
Then what scenario was that? Because it was something with Florida and LSU.
I think what was, Sean, was the year Auburn got screwed out of playing for a national title. Because remember, in 2004, when Auburn had Jason Campbell at quarterback, Auburn went undefeated, won the SEC, but Auburn didn't play for a natty. I think that was the year. Was that LSU in Oklahoma?
2004 was USC in Oklahoma.
Yeah, USC Oklahoma. And that was the year Auburn was undefeated.
Yeah.
And that started a lot of that conversation.
And then, again, it continued when a couple of years later, I forgot what it was, but I think it was the 2007 season, that really fucking weird 2007 season that happened.
Where had 2 losses?
Yeah, where LSU had 2 losses, was the number 3 school and still played for the national championship. Yeah. And won, to be fair.
Beat Ohio State.
But I think that that was what had a lot of these things happen of not necessarily Alabama's just winning a bunch of championships, because the problem with that mindset is believing that dynasties actually hurt a sport, because they don't. They absolutely don't. And that's that's a fact. Go back in history and look at, for example, what's one of the more fonder times that we look at the NBA back in the day? We look at the Michael Jordan, the 1990s, right? Guess what? Michael Jordan won 6 championships in the 1990s. 6 out of 10 championships. There's not a lot of variation going on here. You look at the 80s. Who's winning all the championships in the 80s? The Celtics and the Lakers. Not a lot of variation going on here, right? You look at sport, you could look at baseball. Look at baseball when it was like at its like peak in like the early 2000s. Who was winning all those championships? The fucking Yankees. You look at all sports. Sports benefit from having a team that dominates pillar to post. So miss me with the bullshit on, the system is trying to stop Alabama. No, because the system makes more money when Alabama wins. What's happening is that college football is evolving. When it comes to NIL, they didn't institute NIL because they wanted to do something with recruiting. NIL had been a conversation for years. NIL had been a conversation as long as they had been making NCAA football games. They didn't have they weren't trying to stop Alabama from winning national championships by getting rid of the BCS. They had already wanted the BCS out a long time ago. They didn't shorten recruiting because of the fact that Alabama was dominating recruits, because based on your timeline there, Alabama was only dominating recruits for like 2 years before they make that change. They made that change because they found that there was a lot of stuff going on, a la, Reggie Bush 2005 with all of his stuff. They found that there was a lot of stuff going on there, and they were trying to find ways to fix it. Look, I get it. Alabama football has been up here for forever, but it's not like this transcendental thing that's making all these rule changes based on the success. There's no correlation there.
So the change in terms of the recruiting period, that happened in 2018.
Okay.
So you go from Saban's first class in 08 to this change in 18. That's about 10, 11-year span there.
Okay.
So the change that happened there in 18, they took it from just being one big period, which was the first week of February, to now 2 periods, which being the kids that felt like they could sign early, they sign early. And then the kids in December, and then the kids that want to sign in the traditional period in February, you can sign in February. So what happened was that class, Alabama barely finished in the top 5. They were about to finish 6th because if not for Alakaho, a 4-star from Washington who flipped late in that process, that saved it in being a top 5 class. So what the national media was blathering about out there, and I'm not putting myself in this because I'm not on the national stand here, but the national media was blathering out, okay, Alabama didn't finish with the number 1 class. They didn't finish with top 3. So this changing of this recruiting period, this is going to knock Alabama off here because this change has happened. Not necessarily saying that, it was because of Bama that the change had to happen, but a lot of this was due to your ESPNs, your Fox Sports. A lot of the national heads was putting that information out there.
So, Sean, you confuse me. So we need a team at the top, and you've said that Alabama is that team at the top. The top, we need that for balance. So how is that bad for the sport?
No, it's very much so not balance. That most sports benefit when there's no balance whatsoever. Like, that's what I'm saying. That and this is not me saying my personal opinion, because my personal opinion is I want a different fucking team competing for the championship every goddamn year. That's my personal thing. I want to see other people win. Like that. That's me personally.
That's stupid. But okay.
I mean, that's my opinion. That's fine. Whatever. Again, you and
your opinion is stupid.
Okay, that's not, but whatever. Which I'm going to get into that momentarily. I mean, you thinking that they literally made these changes to stop Alabama is stupid. That is a stupid fucking thing. So let's get that out of the way. And anybody who thinks that is also stupid. And that's not even certified by But Peep This. That's certified by Sean Finn, because we could count on one hand or maybe 2 the amount of rules that have changed due to people playing the game. Nick Saban has not put in any rule changes. Nick Saban has not put in any changes whatsoever. And you know why? Because college football changes too much for there to really be a scenario in which something Nick Saban doing is actually truly making an impact to where there's just nothing anybody else can do. because what people found is that, oh, whatever Nick Saban's doing is working, so we're just going to do that. And it's exactly what happened. I'm not saying the man's not successful. I've never once not said the man is unsuccessful. If I did that, I'd be stupid. My entire argument would be dumb. But I think it's ridiculous that Alabama fans legitimately sit there and go, oh, they made changes just because of us. And no, all of these conversations happened and were happening well before Alabama football was even a thing in 2006. Like, let's just be real here. Like, these are conversations that have been had the entire time. And yeah, college football ended up on more of a national stage than what was there when Alabama was dominating. So it seemed like all this stuff was happening, but that's nowhere near what's happening. And I can tell you that for sure, because when I was working in higher education, I got to see a lot of like how the policy changes were changing over time and what it takes for a policy change to happen. You don't just wake up one day and just decide, hey, we're going to change a policy when it comes to college. That's not how that works. These are year-long processes. So let's say the conversation with the recruiting stuff started a mere 3 years prior. You mean to tell me every year that Nick Saban's been in Alabama from 2008 to 2018, he finished number one when it came to recruiting classes? Number one. Every year.
Encyclopedia. How many number one classes Nick Saban had since 08?
Every year.
Since 08, we look at one. Since 08, 6.
6. So in 10 years, you got 6. 60%, which is fine. But you also have a 40% where they're not there. That's not enough to sit there and be like, oh, we're going to institute a change. That's ridiculous. Feels like 90-10, we'd be having a different conversation. Because that's not dominant. Slightly over 50% is not dominant. That's not dominant. It's not.
You realize how many schools are
what? You're gonna sit there and try to hit me with how many schools play college football?
Realize how many schools?
You can count on
D1?
about two hands how many schools are actually viable when it comes to recruiting. Don't even try and play this thing of like, oh, you got all these D1 schools in Alabama. Stop it. You got LSU, you got Texas, you got Florida, you got Florida State, you got Georgia, you got Alabama, you got Tennessee, you got USC, you got Miami, you got Clemson. Really and truthfully, you go back and look at during that time, those are mainly your top 10. Now that to me is a problem. State? I didn't put Ohio State in there.
Did he name
you throw Ohio State in there.
Throw him in there Michigan?
Too. Michigan's not in there.
Michigan is definitely in there.
Michigan's not in that conversation.
You didn't name Oregon?
Oregon's not in that conversation. And that's coming from an Oregon fan. That's coming from an Oregon fan. Oregon is not a consistent top 10 recruiting class. Look it up. Go look it up. Find the numbers. I'm not sitting there saying Oregon's putting out top talent. Now, moving forward, well, actually, they were if they had kept Mario Cristobal, but, here we are. It is what it is. But
isn't he a product of Alabama?
Mario Cristobal? Maybe.
Yes, he is.
I don't know what that has to do with this conversation currently.
So didn't he bring like Nick Saban's pretty much system up there?
You see, you don't listen. You just hear what you want to hear. Because if you heard, because the thing is that I said the reason why the NCAA didn't have to make these changes because of Alabama is because the other schools just took what they were doing and just did it. But
so how's that bad for the sport?
That's not the part that's bad for the sport. You haven't even let me get there yet.
Okay,
you jump it in.
Get there.
I get there when I want to get there. I'm still talking about this stuff. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Get there.
This conversation ain't got nothing to do with you. I talk about you.
You just overdosed on Jibber Jabber.
You don't listen. That's your problem. You sit there, you hear Alabama football and go, "Oh, this is my thing. I'm gonna sit there." No, you don't listen.
No,
you don't listen.
You've been talking, but you ain't said nothing yet. So
I've said plenty.
Come on, continue.
I've said plenty, but this conversation ain't for you. So sit there and hush.
Plenty, but you ain't said nothing. But continue while I look up these recruiting classes.
Sit there and hush. So again, they're not instituting these changes because of Alabama football. That's a ridiculous notion to me. I don't see a scenario in which that's the case, because if it was the case, why wouldn't it be talked about more? Like, don't you think at some stage of this, if it was truly enough of a problem that they had to institute a change, that the NCAA would have just came out and said, hey, this is a problem that's existing and we need to fix it. It's not like the NCAA is shy about saying when there's problems. It's not like they're shy about calling out schools. They do it all the time. So don't you think that if it was legitimately a problem, that they would come out and say, Alabama is a problem for college football? They haven't, because that's not what's happening here. But this is what's happening. And this is where I start to have a problem. You're right, Steve. The problem doesn't necessarily lie with Alabama football. You're 100% right. You said where the problem lied earlier. It's the media, specifically the national media, that consistently sell this narrative of, if you're not doing Alabama football, you're not doing it right. So what happens? You go from this scenario in college, we got all these players that are trying to make their mark, and you take away all of that spotlight and put it in one place. You take all that spotlight, you put it in one place, and you tell those kids, you're not doing anything unless you're in Alabama football. You're going to sit there and tell me that every top prospect over the past 10 years all come from Alabama? You're going to sit there and tell me that every single top coach in the past 10 years come from Alabama? You're going to sit there and tell me that every top recruit goes to Alabama? No. And why is that the case? Because Alabama football isn't the only damn answer. And that's the key problem I have. It's not necessarily that Alabama has dominated, because they have dominated for the past 20 years. That's not the problem. It's the fact that now, even when Alabama has a 2-loss season, you can't move them out the top 10. Why? Because any other team that has a 2-loss season is out of the top 10. Any other team that has some of the problems that Alabama runs into, they don't even get talked about. But because Alabama's up here, they get an automatic pass. And one of the biggest problems that I have with Alabama is that it has allowed the NCAA to sit there and say, hey, we can give these really cupcake schedules to this school, and we don't really have to feel anything from it. Because if Alabama's successful, then it's great because they talk about it. And if Alabama's not successful, it's great because then they'll talk about it. So either which way, the NCAA doesn't have to sit there and make Alabama play a tough-ass schedule. They make them play these bullshit-ass schedules with these breaks in between that not really a lot of other schools outside of the SEC have. They sit there and they give them these, little tiny, whatever. And then they sell this narrative of, well, if you play in the SEC, you're playing against the best of the best, which is a fucking lie. Which is an absolute fucking lie. Let's just call it what it is. Because you're telling me that when you're playing a football game against Florida, that's the best quarterback, wide receiver, running back, offensive line that you're going to run into? No, it's not. When you sit there, LSU last year was the best of the best. Vandy last year was the best of the best. Tennessee in the past 10 years have been the best of the best. Arkansas, the best of the best? Come on. College football is divided the way it is for a reason. And because of Alabama's successes, it has made it to where people feel that the only answer to football is through the SEC. And that's a fucking problem. Because what you do there is you take away from those who don't fall into that system. And you take away from those who don't abide by that system. So, for example, I was okay with Dabo Swinney as long as I was, until I realized he's just a pompous asshole. But I was okay with as long as he was, because he was literally sitting there going in these things and saying, why are y'all talking about us in this way? When we are undefeated for 2 damn years, and you're still talking to us like we don't deserve to be here. But Alabama and Auburn and all these other teams can lose games like it's nothing. And we just got to sit there and be like, oh, that's fine, whatever. When what it comes down to is the fact that, and the thing is, you can't argue with me on this. Money makes a college program better. So if all of this money is being funneled into the SEC, then yeah, they're going to end up with better. They're going to end up with better trainings. They're going to end up with better food diets and everything like that. But what's happening when you're funneling all this money into here just because you got one team that's doing successful? And that apparently all of their competition is also good as well. Well, then you're taking away from those other places that also are putting out just as much talent. I'm not going to say if not more, but putting out just as much talent, all because you got one team up here that wants to do well. College football is not about the teams. It's not. College football is about the kids that go through it and them trying to achieve their dreams, whatever the hell that they're coming up with. And this it's very personal for me because I worked college for about 3 to 4 years. And I had to deal with these kids and sit there and try to push them to their goals because that's what we want out of life. If you're going to spend this money to go to college, you're going to do the best you can for them. But when the whole world is selling you on this dream of, I got to go here and I got to be a part of this to be something. I mean, we act like every 6-7 product that comes out of football comes from the SEC. We act like it took years before people were like, oh, if you want true speed, you go in the Pac-12. But even then, the speed in the Pac-12 doesn't line up to the speed in the SEC. What does that even mean? And I talk to people all the time who are from the South, and they'll sit there, oh, SEC is the best football. SEC is boring as hell. Good God Almighty. Boring. Incredibly boring. Give me something else. And I blame all of that on the fact that the media got together one day and they said Alabama football is the future and anybody who has to deal with Alabama on a regular basis must be better than everybody else. And I think that's bullshit.
So, Sean, because you bring a point there, you said it's boring. Give me something else.
Something else.
Lionel's favorite team, the Patriots, boring. But most of the time, they're holding the Vince Lombardi trophy, which says champions. They're winning.
Fantastic.
Boring, yes. But are you winning? Because at some point, winning cures that. You could be the boringest thing in the world. I cover the Crimson Tide. And there have been moments where I've looked at Alabama and I've said, man, this is the most boring batch of football I've ever seen. But at the very end, here is Alabama, whatever team winning the national championship wins it. And they're not looking back saying, Steve, it's boring. Heck no, we won. It don't matter if it's boring or not. I can sit there and watch paint dry. If that paint is holding up a national title, it could be the boringest thing since a funeral. If that funeral is holding that championship, that's all I care about. Is that natty?
So hold on, Sean. Hold on. So
you did your research. Go ahead. And make sure you come a little bit more this way so that you every time you turn your head, you cut out a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah.
So I found
Nope. You can't keep turning your head. You gotta stay.
Found the recruiting class ranking.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. From 2005 until 2020.
Okay. It's not what I was asking about, but that's fine.
I know, but I'm just for the record.
We'll take it.
Just as a point of reference.
Okay.
In 2005, Alabama, they finished 16th nationally.
Okay.
2006, they finished 13th nationally. 2007, they finished 12th nationally.
Okay.
2008, they finished 3rd nationally.
Okay.
2009, they finished 3rd. That was the championship year? Or was 08 the championship year?
09 was the championship year.
09, okay. So the last year's class would have been, okay.
Mm-hmm.
2010, they finished 4th nationally. From 2011 until 2017, they finished 1st nationally.
Okay.
Okay. 2018, they finished 5th. 2019, another top number 1 recruiting class. And then 2020, they finished 2nd.
So out of 15 years, 8 of them you didn't finish first, and 7 of them you did. That's the numbers you're giving me. It's more of an even split than I thought it was, for sure. I still don't think that should be a grounds of we need to change this. Because what that's telling me is that more often than not, no, other schools are getting good recruits. The problem ain't the recruiting. Go ahead.
SC finished 2. Like, SC got 2 number 1 classes. Florida got 1, 2. LSU got 1. Miami got 1. And Georgia got 2. Bama got the rest. What are you saying, Sean? Really?
What I'm saying is that more often
they only
than
got
not,
half of the top 10 recruiting classes.
but more often than not, they're not. More often than not, they're not getting the top class. Again, I said it was a 60-40 split. You're giving me damn near 50-50.
Below top 5.
Okay.
They have been top 5 since. What are you talking? Sean.
What point are you trying to make here?
This is worse than your choke rate.
What point are you trying to make here?
Sean,
what is the point?
Top in the recruit, like you thought, they only got, like you saying that's not a big deal. Just say it's a big deal.
What point are we making? Tell me the point you're trying to make.
I'm simply saying.
Please tell me the point, because I'm very confused.
You're saying that Alabama only getting top recruiting classes for 8 out of the 15 years is not impressive.
7 out of 15 years.
7 out of 15. 7 out of 15 number 1 recruiting classes is not impressive. I'm simply saying.
What part of this conversation has to do with the fact that I need to be impressed by Alabama?
You literally just said it.
Impression? I don't give a fuck if it's impressive or not. What that got to do with anything? When have I once said that I think that what they're doing is impressive, or that I don't think it's impressive? What does that matter to me?
Are you literally like selectively remembering what you just said or what you didn't say?
Lionel.
Steve, did he just say that, okay, 60-40 split is not that great? You literally just said that.
I said it wasn't that great. That word for word, I said it wasn't that great.
Yes.
I for real said it wasn't that great.
You said that.
You
literally said that.
Or did I say that it's not a big enough problem for me to sit there and go, this is what we need to do to be able to change college football? Because those are 2 different statements. They're not the same.
You did not say that. You didn't.
I did not say that. So this entire time I've been making this point.
Sean,
I have not said that part of my problem here is that. That's not what I'm saying.
60-40 split, that's not that great. You said that. Sean, I would not be making a big deal about it if you didn't just say it.
60-40 split. I said isn't great.
Yes, that's what you said.
Well, then guess what? 50-50, I don't really give a shit about that either. So there you go. Because I gave the 60 to Alabama a little bit ago. So I don't know why 60-40, cool. I mean, 50-50, cool.
You're telling me.
Was it 55-50? What is that? Here, let me get it for you.
That a team.
We'll go through and we do
that. Pretty much, essentially,
we go
wins
7 divided by 15.
Other recruiting class.
55-45 is what it is. 55-45 is what it is.
So
55-45.
We're talking about number 1.
Number 1.
Best in the country.
Best in the country.
From 05
to
2020.
From 05 to 2020.
7 of those years.
7 of those years.
Alabama had the best recruiting class in the country.
I expect more if we're going to make a change based on Alabama. I feel like that's the thing you're not missing here.
7. We're talking about 7 years.
7 years.
And 1, 2, 3, 6-year stretch. 6 out of 6 stretch. Straight. Consecutive.
Okay.
Number 1 recruiting classes.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Why wasn't it? If you had given me like 2 more,
that's a big deal.
If we had like a 9 to 6 split, I'd sit there and be like, yeah, maybe the change was because of that. But you're literally 1 recruiting class away, and probably like 1 player too. It's not like they're just dominating the whole fucking thing. It's not like those 1 recruiting. It's like 1 or 2 players away from having a 50-50 split. And I'm not really, again, I feel like you're missing the point of me bringing this up.
So 2017, how many natties did Bama win?
Since 2017 or?
From 2011
from 2011
to 2017. How many natties did Bama
win? Again,
I
keep telling you, stop turning your head away from the camera, but you won't listen
to me. From 2011 to 2017, Steve. 4. So out of the 6 years that Bama had a number 1 recruiting classes, they got 4 ships out of that.
Okay.
That's impressive, Sean.
In a 10-year stretch when Michael
That's a
Jordan,
problem. That's a problem for anybody who's recruiting anybody.
Again, in a 10-year stretch where Michael Jordan won 6 out of 10 NBA titles, how many rule changes went into effect because Michael Jordan was just so dominant?
I don't know. I have to look it up. I'm not really
okay. I'll put
90s
one
Michael Jordan rule.
Okay, I'll put 1 more in your wheelhouse then. Out of the 7 Super Bowls y'all have with the Patriots, was it 7, 6 or 7 over the past 20 years? 6 over the past 20 years. Most of those coming within about a 10-year period, correct? How many rule changes did the New England Patriots bring into play with the NFL?
Well,
based on the way they were playing.
One very notable one.
Which one would that be?
The tuck rule.
Oh, the tuck rule. Okay, so
the tuck rule.
We got the tuck rule that came about from the beginning that benefited the Patriots, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
If you want to say that, yeah.
The tuck rule didn't benefit the Patriots. Lionel.
Okay.
The tuck rule didn't benefit the Patriots.
The tuck rule benefited the Patriots.
Thank you. Okay. So again, again, where are we seeing these rule changes being into play when it comes to the domination of one team? Teams don't have rule changes put on them. Players have rule changes put on them, but not teams. Why? Because it's better for the people who run the businesses that one team dominates. It's numbers.
It sounds like
again.
Is it your? It sounds more like you have a problem with the NCAA and not Alabama football.
Steve, where did I say my problem lied earlier when I was talking to you?
Media?
Thank you. Listen, Lionel. Listen to the words.
Your problem is with the media.
Yes. And the high regard that Alabama football is held when I just don't think it's always the case. And I think we give too much of a pass for that. But y'all Alabama fans want to sit here and say, we've had it so hard for so long. Shut the fuck up. What hardships? What issues has Alabama faced when it comes to them winning national championships? Who has ever sat there and looked at Alabama people and looked at Alabama's team and gone, I don't know, that team just ain't gonna win it at all. And then they turn around and win it, and then everybody goes
every fucking year.
Right. Who am I though? I'm nobody.
Hey.
I'm nobody.
Hey. I'm not gonna lie though.
Give it, Steve. Come on.
I'm not that 2014 Alabama team. Even though they didn't win it all, they won the SEC. A lot of Bama fans look dead at that 2014 team and said that team ain't gonna win crap. And
Okay.
I remember that because that 2014 team, Jacob Coker had transferred in from Florida State. Blake Sims was the quarterback that year, but people didn't give Blake Sims a chance at all. And I just remember Blake Sims took bare bones and a skeleton. Because I'm going to tell you, that defense, we didn't know who the leaders were. The leaders didn't grow into the middle part of the season, but that team overachieved to the highest degree and got the SEC. But at the beginning of that season, I can think of about several hundreds of Bama fans, because I talk to them crazy folks every day. Some folks think they all think I'm psychotic. But I was talking to them. And and these are Bama fans, Bama radio people, Bama TV people, and they looked at that 2014 team this summer and said, that team ain't gonna be nothing. And that team went on to win the SEC title.
So Sean, I'm not Sean. I'm not talking to you, Sean. I'm talking to Steve. So Steve, you are in the media. How much of Alabama's not gonna win the title do you hear every year?
A bunch of it. And especially now with the growth of other teams. Right now, the talk of college football is Georgia. Right now, after this win by Kirby Smart, Georgia's the talk. You look at all the NIL money in Texas, A&M's become the talk. You look at Lincoln Riley over there at USC, they're thinking, how quickly can Riley get USC back relevance? USC's gotten some talk in there. So Alabama being the clear cut, that's not the talk around the national circuits right now.
Literally right now, Georgia's ranked number 1, Alabama's ranked number 2. Stop it. Like, just stop it.
Did they not just play each other for the ship, Sean?
Stop with the shit of, but again, this goes to my point. There is no one who has any level of sense. And again, I think I've found the problem. I think after talking to you two, I think I've found the problem. So I am going to put a message out there for all the Alabama fans in the world, not the Alabama media people, because y'all have a job. This is what you do. And Steve, I highly respect what you do. And I understand what you hear. You probably hear a little bit, of a different side than what I do. I'm going to speak to all the Alabama people here. I'm going to pull my mic real close for this one, because I need y'all to hear this. I think I've been enlightened on this conversation. I think a turning point has happened. I think I'm no longer going to blame Alabama football, because at the end of the day, what is it, like 15 national titles in the past 20 years? Isn't that what it is? Something ridiculous.
There's 18 total, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 18 total.
Right. 18 total.
18 total, whatever, incredible prospects. Probably, I think a team that has some of the top 5 most draft picks in the NFL over the last 20 years. They haven't changed the game, but they're making the game more simple, and I get all that. But to all you Alabama fans out there, with the exception of Steve's show, you should watch some other Alabama media, because y'all really think that this entire country's out to get y'all. And as a person who listens to no Alabama media except Steve's show, because you should watch Steve's show, most of the country is pulling for y'all. So stop it. You're on top. Everybody loves y'all. I don't personally, but that's a personal thing. And I've outlined all my personal grievances.
You're a hater.
However, again, Sean's a hater part 2. Again, but if there's a common thread here between what I hated on last week and what I hated on this week, there's a very clear common thread here. However, I think y'all need to go outside, read a book, something other than Alabama football, because I promise you, there's more to life than Alabama football.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, Sean. I'm gonna say this, Sean, and I'm gonna say this in all respects to both of y'all doing this. I've been covering Bama football since I was 15 years old. I've been a professional since I was 15. So that would be me in the 10th grade. So I'm 29 now. So for 14 years, almost 15, I've been covering Alabama football for about 15 years. I've been doing this sports thing since I was 2. Parents, they have a picture of me with a diaper on, a pen behind my ear, me yelling at TV. So yeah, there you go.
I need
Mama,
I need that photo.
We need that
I
photo.
need it.
Absolutely.
I need it, Mama.
That will be the thumbnail for this video. I promise you. I promise you that.
So, Sean, there have been moments where, and I can name 10 vividly, because that's just how God allows my mind to work. But I'll just pull out one for now. I remember the 2019 game between Alabama and LSU. That was the game where former President Trump was in Tuscaloosa and they shut the streets down. I got searched by the Secret Service 5 times because I had a beard. They thought I was from Al Qaeda or something. So I got searched 5 times by the Secret Service.
Howdy.
And so I go into the game. I go in, and we lose to Joe Burrow, who had a heck of a game. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, tremendous talents. We lose by 5.
Come on, hold on, wait. Let's put some shine on some of them defensive players too. Come on.
That's crazy coming from somebody who's not an LSU fan.
Come on, let's put some shine on some of the defense players.
Crazy.
Great guys, but Patrick Queen was great.
There we go. Come on.
Derek Stingley out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Cordell Black was out there.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
That's great players.
That's crazy. That's crazy coming from somebody who's not an LSU fan who just admitted to that on this show.
I'm not an LSU fan. However, I was pulling hard for LSU for that.
But here's the point, though.
Yeah.
Bama loses by 5. I'm walking out of the stadium. My phone is on fire with phone calls and texts from Alabama fans that are either drunk or high or about to fall off a cliff. They're like, Steven, we're gonna die. We just lost. What are we gonna do? Life is over. Do I drink this 40 now or do I drink it later? Do I put the shotgun to my brain? Do I drop my baby in a dumpster? Like, where am I? And I'm like, y'all, we lost. Bama lost by 5 to a really good LSU team. It's gonna be all right. Sunday comes tomorrow. Go to church, read a scripture, drop some money in the preacher's hat. Don't call me. Just don't call me. And I had to put that in all caps. Don't call me, because I already have a ton on my shoulders I have to do, but they still find ways to call me. So, because I think I'm the Jesus of football, which no, I'm not.
I called Steve that day too. I'm not.
No, I'm a black man. I'm a black man trying to do a job here. But
I said Lionel. He didn't answer. Said I called Lionel. He didn't answer.
So I said all that, Sean, to say this. I do see your point in terms of Alabama, not the whole Alabama fan base, but the small sect that feel like Alabama football is the only thing in life that keeps me going.
It's like 2%.
There's
There's a lot more than that.
It's like
that
2%.
sect. There is a sect out there that feel like it's Alabama football or death.
Correct.
And that's the sect that even I myself have to block phone numbers for.
Agreed.
That sect.
And what I will say is this. I think for me, it also extends to 2 more groups. The first group that feels like the only football that matters in college football is the SEC. You're ruining the sport. Please stop. You don't deserve a microphone in front of you if you think that we should be not paying attention to other college football programs in this country. Number 1. Number 2, it also extends to the bandwagoner fans. You could be a bandwagoner fan all you want, and there's one thing I will say about the 2 people on this podcast: they are not bandwagoner fans. And I have all the utmost respect in the world for, even though they enjoy the thing that I probably dislike more than a lot of things in this world. They're not bandwagoner fans. They've been with Alabama from the beginning, and I will give them that. But if you sit there and you tell me that the only football that matters is Alabama football, and 10 years ago you wearing an LSU jersey, kiss my ass.
Okay.
Kiss my ass.
So Sean, you need to direct this conversation to, I hate to say this, my father. That's a
All right.
conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
a funny background story about my
Okay.
father,
Oh,
death, who
yeah.
probably is getting home from work right now. So my dad, I was born in Virginia on a military base. I was
Okay.
born in Norfolk. So the first 5 to 10 years of my life, my father was a die-in-the-wool Virginia Tech fan. And I can pretty much name for you every quarterback that played from Virginia Tech, from Mike Glennon to Marcus, from Mike Glennon, from Michael Vick to Mike Glennon to Brian Russell to Logan Thomas to Tyrod Taylor. I can name them all for you.
Shout out Tyrod. That's my
Shout,
guy.
shout out Tyrod Taylor.
To all of those
He's
that
that
played
man.
in the Frank Beamer family. So for the first 5 to 10 years, my dad was Hokie, Hokie high, Hokie, Hokie ho, Hokie, Hokie put him up. Virginia Tech, big Hokie fan. Cam Newton comes to Auburn in 2010 from Blinn Junior College on the backside of the moon in Brenham, Texas.
Shout out Cam Newton. I'm gonna say it.
Cam comes to Auburn in 2010. And out of nowhere, this Virginia Tech pride flips instantly to Auburn. And he starts rocking Auburn hats, Auburn shirts, Auburn sweatpants, Auburn bracelets. I'm like, how did this happen? And he was like, man, you know, Tech got old. Man, Beeman got old. Tech got old. So had to flip on off. You know, Cam Young, he out there doing his thing. You know, gotta get on off. So I immediately turned to my mother because she's the sensible person in the room more times than not. I'm like, Mom, is he still getting fed? But you like fried chicken, Stephen? No, not me, Mom. Is he still getting fed? But I got the fried chicken. No, Mom. Is that man your husband, my father? Is he still getting fed? Yes? Dear God, why? So I had to turn my face to the wall and leave the room because, yes, my father is the biggest bandwagon fan in the history of the sport.
Hey, real quick, not football related. Y'all want to see something funny?
Oh boy. Let's go.
Hey, buddy. Roof. 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 Roof.
Don't just magically appear with Lionel. What the?
Watch this.
It's a strange
He hates words. See? He hates words. Watch this. Cow. Dog. Monkey. Horse. Cow.
Hey, look
That's the funniest
thing. Yeah.
It's not like the word
solid. Solid shit.
Cow. Cow.
Hey, see, this is better than half the junk ESPN has right now.
My dog is 13 pounds. He fetches and he does this. Scrappy Doo, ladies and gentlemen. I got the cutest dog on this show.
And I have the cutest cat on the show. I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
Okay, this is putting ESPN to shame right now.
Listen, you think Stephen A. Smith got a dog that doesn't like the word cow?
I don't think he does.
All right. So for those of you who watched all the way to the end, which shout out to you all because y'all are great. This is the cat that tried to attack me last week.
Tried to.
This is flat out did. Yeah, I still have marks on my arm for it.
He two-pieced you up.
But this is Chunky. Chunky is quite large, as you can see. Quite a large cat. There's a reason why I call him Chunky.
Scrappy is not impressed. Look at
and I hold him like a baby.
Scrappy is not impressed. All right, I'll put you down.
Okay.
But
There you go.
All right.
I heard there was a segment of the 8 seeds, college football player going to 8 seeds, 8 teams.
I think it should.
I really like the idea of 8 teams because think of this year, like for example, if we went to eight teams, right? Let's say Bama did lose 2 games, right? But they were the SEC West champion, right? So they're like number 5, right?
Okay.
And Oregon is like, or SC wins the Pac-12 and they're like number 4, 1 loss.
I think it's comical to me that you think that a 2-loss Alabama SEC championship team would not be ranked over a 1-loss Pac-12 championship team. I think that's comical because you know damn well Alabama would be in the top 3, and don't say anything otherwise.
Are you done?
No, but yeah.
For the sake of the conversation that I'm trying to have, a 5-seed Alabama against a 4-seed SC
I think
in
it
a
would be
Fiesta
great.
Bowl would be a hell of a matchup.
I think it would be great. It would be fantastic.
Or a 7-seed Clemson, because I hate Clemson. No, it's not that I hate Clemson. I hate Dabo because I don't think he's the person that everybody thinks he is. At least Nick Saban
he's
is
a dick
to everybody.
Yeah, I'm about to say Nick Saban's a dick.
Nick Saban is who he is. He's a jerk to everybody.
But also Dabo Swinney's also a dick.
Right. But
I will also say this about Clemson. The thing about Clemson is Clemson won the championships it's won in the window it should have won in. Because you got 2 generational quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. With DJ Uiagalelei, hope I'm saying that name correctly there.
I was going to say it again.
DJ Uiagalelei. So DJ, because DJ and Bryce Young both came in the same class. And a lot of people were pumping DJ just due to he's 6'4.5", really big body, rocket arm. But I felt like DJ coming behind Watson and Lawrence came into some really massive shoes and was not ready to fill those at all. And then plus with Dabo has been very adamant about, well, I'm not going to use the transfer portal. Why did he use that for? And he's also been adamant about, well, I'm not going to use an IL. I mean, people come to Clemson because it's Clemson. And there are just certain things that Dabo says that kind of rubs people the wrong way. And I understand he came from walk-on at Alabama, walk-on receiver, had to get everything he had to get. Won a championship at Alabama as a walk-on. Thank goodness for Gene Stallings giving him the opportunity. But at the same time, Dabo has the open mouth, insert foot syndrome, where he says some stuff that makes you go, did you really say that?
And he will. And if he doesn't learn to embrace the transfer portal and NIL, he will phase out. Like they will replace him.
Clemson is already phasing out.
He'll phase out quick. And here's why he'll phase out quick. Because you think about this. What the transfer portal does, I basically call the transfer portal enhanced recruiting.
Yeah.
Because so you get 2 options in front of you. You get a 17 or 18-year-old kid that you have to teach your system, develop in your system, learn your system, do all of that.
Has to be physically capable to do the job as well.
And then I put in front of you a 19 to 21-year-old who's already experienced, body's already right, has played major college football, has been on some of the biggest stages, biggest games, biggest moments. And all I have to do is give him a quick little polish and pop him off to the NFL. Which one are you going to take?
Exactly.
It really just depends on your situation at the time.
Right.
And you know what's funny? It's like, this is going to be an obscure ass reference, but it's like playing the old NCAA games and you get like those JUCO recruits that come in at like a 3-star, but they're ranked at like an 80 overall. And you're sitting there and you're like, well, yeah, I'm going to take this guy. He's ready to go right now. Oh, can I get him for 2 years? I can get 10 touchdowns with him this year.
I can't relate because I used to cheat in NCAA.
And
here's how. No, I meant like in the dynasty.
I know. You've told me.
No. First of all, Steve, you don't have a dog in this fight because I used to wipe the floor with your ass.
It's 50.
In NCAA.
It's
on the
50,
PlayStation
50.
2 and the PlayStation 3.
It's 50-50.
Steve.
My bad.
All around the board.
Okay, my bad.
All right. Sean is
50-50. Call it 50-50. Thank you.
Anyway, so what I used to do was
let's talk about that Madden record though.
Sean's won like the last 3
in a row.
and I can't get him to play again. For some reason, he won't play, but whatever. He goes,
Look.
all right.
See, what he's done, Lionel, is he's riding off into the sunset.
That's right. That's right. That's fine. That's fine.
Damn right.
Anyway,
What I got to prove.
So, right. So he won't play me again. We know that. Anyways, so there, you know what? There are players, there are people that we know that so many people have issues with competing with me. I have no idea why. I mean, but I've had guys, like I've played Madden with people and I just let them win just so I have somebody to play with. So, and then the one day he was like, you know what, you're really trash at this game. And I was like,
pick up the sticks, let's go.
oh, really? Okay, let's play one more time. You won't score a single point. I put up 84 points before halftime. You hadn't played me since. So anyway, in NCAA, I used to create the recruits, 99 overall. Of course, most of the times I didn't play with Alabama in the in NCAA. I played offensive coordinator at Boise State simply because I like the blue field. So
yeah.
And 90% of the time when he played me, he played as the Ohio State University.
Hold on.
110%. But don't let him say anything different.
Lionel, I remember you had a weird obsession with Kellen Moore too.
Look at him now. What you mean?
Kellen Moore is great.
Look at him now. You telling me he didn't ball out at Boise?
I mean, he balled out. Now he a quarterback coach for the Cowboys, but
he's the OC for the Cowboys.
Okay, now he's OC.
He's OC now. He should be head coach.
Honestly. Should be. McCarthy needs to retire, but it's not.
Look, McCarthy spent a year in the basement talking about he did some analytics. McCarthy was eating bonbons and drinking soda.
McCarthy just
eating ham sandwiches and watching Friends.
Hey, you know what? Good for McCarthy, but give Kellen Moore the job so we can all move on and let
Dallas can actually.
I'm about to say let Dallas, and this is coming from 2 Dallas haters.
I hate Dallas.
Let him be great. Like let him do it. But if you Jerry, you got to get rid of him.
I don't like Dallas. I mean, I like Dallas. I don't hate Dallas, but Jerry Jones needs to get out of the chair.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Jerry Jones screws with this team every year.
Yep.
I don't understand. Like when Jerry has a coach that he can't control, they win. Because he couldn't control Barry Switzer, they were winning. He couldn't control Jimmy Johnson, they were winning. But the moment you get a Jason Garrett and I can control this, it goes down. You get a Mike McCarthy, I can control this, it goes down.
Trash. America's team. What?
They're only America's team because of the cheerleaders.
So the whole thing behind it.
The Patriots are America's team. If you want my opinion on it,
I think the Patriots are America's bastard child, but whatever.
The Patriots are America's team because who has won more championships since 2000?
I don't think that's what defines you as America's team.
I think it does.
Really?
Those are my qualifications. Who won more games? Who's the winningest team of the 2000s and 2010?
So Bama is America's college football team?
Absolutely.
Oh Lord.
People are saying road to listen. I work with the director of health and safety at my company. His name is Jim Mangus. Jim is a great guy.
He just like
great safety.
That name just sounded like he was riding dirt bikes in the woods.
That's true. Mr. Mangus.
So anyway, he's an Alabama fan.
Good for Jim, I guess. What was the point of this? What's the point of this?
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. I gotta share this story before we move on to the next segment. And Lionel, you'll get a kick out of this the most, but both of you will. So, man, I can't tell y'all. So during the show, during my own words, we have two sets of fans on the show. We have the fans that actually are bold enough to call in and have a conversation. And then we have the fans that just leave voicemails. The voicemail fans are the funniest group of people because you get those fans that just, I think you get those fans just really like to go at me for some odd reason. I got one fan that said, tell Steven M to take his hand off the mic with his country self. Man, you don't gotta be touching the mic like that. The mic ain't going nowhere. Get your hat. I can see you through the phone. The mic ain't going nowhere. You got him, and then you got the one guy, man. I'll take you back to the back alley and beat you up, man. Talking about that, Alabama. Nobody care about you, man. Why are you on the mic right now? I'm like, what's wrong with these fans? And then, the best one was, there were these two girls that called in and got them engaged now. There's this one chick that called in. Hold on. For real. This one girl called in at the McDonald's drive-thru. Can I get a number 5 quarter pounder? Oh, wait, just the show. Steven, you so fine. Oh my God. Like, I'm at McDonald's and I just caught the show. Do you not know how fine you is? My name is Latanya, by the way. Let me give you my number. I want that number 5 with extra crispy. Let me give you my number, though. I'm like, hang up, bro. Hang up the phone.
I want the number 5 extra crispy. Oh my God. Not the number 5. Man, look. That's fucking dope. Shout out Latanya. Who couldn't decide if the McDonald's order was more important or being on the show was more important.
Man, listen, Steve has some weird people calling on the show.
I promise you, like for real. I'm telling you, you got the voicemail fans who come out of left field, and then you got the actual fans, like, and that wasn't even the only fast food order. We had a dude that called in one day. He was coming to McDonald's. He said, "Oh, let me get the Travis Scott meal. The $6 Travis Scott meal. The quarter pounder with fries and the Sprite, the medium. It's the Travis Scott meal." I'm like, man, this is in my own. Oh, this ain't McDonald's. Man, I thought, man, y'all said this was McDonald's. I want the Travis Scott meal. Like, yeah,
man, get out.
Hey, you call him, man? How high are you? If you sit there calling the damn.
Steve has.
Be like, damn. What are those? I'm gonna order some damn McDonald's over the phone. Listen, if any of you have ever
done that,
if any of you have ever had success ordering McDonald's over the phone, please let me know because I want to know. Get in the comment section. I want to know personally.
Yeah.
What's the name of your comment section?
The YouTube chat, the super chat line.
No, it's a set group of people in there.
Yeah.
Oh, the Blue Wrench Gang.
The Blue Wrench Gang, yeah.
Man,
the what?
Blue Wrench.
Okay, so let me give you the backstory on the Blue Wrench Gang. So the Blue Wrench Gang backstory. This was created by my producer John Ivory. Shout out to my man John Ivory. So John. And this was 2 years ago. So John came up with this idea of let's have people donate in to the show. I donate in. And like the top donators that just love to give, we'll have their names turned blue, on the YouTube screen and give them a wrench beside their name. We just call it the Blue Wrench Gang. So that was John's idea. So John starts this idea. And people just start going crazy. Like, my name turned blue. I got a wrench. Blue wrench up, baby. My name turned blue. And these are like old men and ladies in there and a few young guys like, oh my gosh, I got a blue wrench, man. Gang up, man. Gang up. And so now the Blue Wrench Gang has gotten out of hand because they've got like special powers, special abilities in the chat line where They could talk like a whole bunch of junk and ban people, and it's just crazy. So the Blue Wrench Gang will write a lot of crazy stuff in the chat. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to get into the Blue Wrench Gang, man.
I would like entry into
I'm trying to get into the John.
I mean, it's so the Blue Wrench Gang. They're normally the people that actually call into the show and talk to me. The people that are not in the Blue Wrench Gang, they're the ones that leave voicemails. Like, and the voicemails I've shared with y'all, they're just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I'll get voicemails like,
imagine.
I get voicemails. I got one voicemail that said, "Is this the real Nick Saban show? Hello? Is Nick Saban there? I want to talk to Coach Saban. Hello? My name Jack. I've been a Bama fan since 1960. I've been a Bama fan since 1950. I want to talk to Nick. Nick there? Why y'all ain't answering the phone?" I'm like, this is not the Nick Saban show. And then there was one that went, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. This was probably the greatest one of all time. We had a father call in. "Hey, my name is Patrick. I'm trying to get my son recruited to Alabama. He about 6'2", 225 pounds. We want him to get him to play running back or wide receiver. If you can patch my number here to Nick Saban, my number's 334-267-9158. You can just get my number to Coach. My name is Patrick. Patrick. Just get my number to Coach Saban, get my son recruited." Like, how am I gonna get your son recruited? Like, how in the world am I gonna get your kid recruited?
Just for my own editing purposes, whose number is that?
I just made that number up.
Okay, please don't call this number.
Please, guys. 267. That sounds like a Perry County number, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm cutting out the last 4 of that number. We ain't giving the people that damn number. There ain't no way. That's gonna be some dude.
Patrick.
It's gonna be
Blow
Patrick.
Patrick up. Man.
Lord have mercy.
So are we, Sean, you got that off your chest?
Yeah, I mean, I feel as though, and I would like to. I feel like I brought up some good points. I feel like, I don't know if you're gonna say I'm justified in my dislike, but there's definitely a reason as to why I'm not just a hater, just to be a hater.
Okay, I mean, yeah, we give it to you.
Okay, that's all I need, really.
I mean, the point being, Sean, you came to the argument with strong points to your topic. At least you weren't just spouting off obscenities, because that's what a lot of people would come to the conversation with, is spouting off obscenities. So you came to this with a concrete conscious statement.
Of course.
So as long as it was concrete consciousness, I can deal with that. I'm not going to deal with somebody every third word you cussing me out. Like, come on.
No, you won't get that on the But Peep This podcast. Kind of like we have said with a lot of, if y'all gonna come at us, you better come correct, because we always come correct. Always.
So, I will block you.
But
we'll get JEs to write the message.
No, legitimately. And I've known Bug to do this since high school. Bug will block you. But I've known Bug to do this on Facebook. Bug will block the mess out of you. I've seen him do it. He will do that.
I won't block you.
I blocked because he was just oh my God. So remember Perception?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I throw that at people just to throw it at them sometimes, just to see what happens.
Listen, sneak peek next week. My big sister is coming on. We're talking conspiracy theories.
Are we coming on?
Hillary's coming on next week.
Hillary coming on next week.
So I'm gonna make it a point to say that's your perception, because I know it's gonna piss her off.
I might actually edit in a counter at the bottom that says this is your perception, and just change the numbers.
See how many times we could say perception before she says something? I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll write that at perception counter.
Perception counter. So yeah, all right. So as long as you got that off your chest, we're not gonna hear any more Like I know we're gonna hear Alabama slander, but just whatever.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm just
Oh yeah, you going here?
I'm just intrigued by this. So Lionel, this year in the playoff, who are your 4 seeds?
Ooh. Damn. I'm gonna go. Like you want 1, 2, 3, 4, or you just want just 4 teams?
Let's just go 4 teams.
Okay. Give me Bama. Give me SC.
As in USC?
SC.
As in USC, like University of Southern California. Holy shit! All right,
These are my 4 teams.
That's fair, but damn, high praise.
I think this is the year I'm gonna go Texas. I'm gonna go Texas with a star on it, as in y'all reserve the right to say that was stupid.
Okay.
Reserve the right. Okay, that's fine.
Put a star by Texas, okay, and then. A piece of me is wanting to say Miami, and the other piece of me is saying you know better. It's Ohio State.
Okay, not mad at that.
Okay, so I will. So my 4.
I'm gonna go Ohio State.
So
Alabama, SC, Texas, Ohio State.
So my 4, I'm gonna go Bama, Ohio State. Give me Bama, Ohio State. Give me SC, because I think Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams are gonna turn that around quick. Bama, SC, Ohio State. 4. You know what? I'm gonna say this 4. Call me crazy, but I really think they got some brewing down there, especially with the move of Cristobal. Give me Miami. Bama, Ohio State, SC, Miami. I think Cristobal has got some seriously brewing down there with that staff he is putting together. Give me Miami.
That's
Miami.
High list of similar.
Okay. So for the record, I'm not putting USC and Miami in mine.
Okay.
Because I think those coaching moves are still too early to really have anything done with like immediately.
Right.
I say you give me like 2 years.
Yeah.
I'll put USC and Miami both in that conversation.
Okay.
For me, I'm gonna say also Alabama and Ohio State. I'm gonna throw Michigan in there.
Okay. That's fair.
And I am going to really hit with a wild card here. Just because I would want to see this happen. But I'm gonna throw Baylor in there.
I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna throw Baylor in there.
I like the pick for one reason. Dave Aranda has done an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
He inherited a mess.
He did.
And he has cleaned it up fast.
And I think Baylor has the schedule that'll lead them to be able to have like a 10-win season. And I think a Baylor 10-win season is going to put them in, at the very least, the conversation.
I think Dave Aranda inherited a flat mess.
He did.
And he has turned it around.
Yeah.
And he turned it around quicker than what I thought he would.
Same.
I'm not saying your picks are wrong. Do you really think that the Big Ten is going to give you 2 teams this year?
Okay.
I think they can.
It depends for the Big Ten to get 2 teams. It depends on the play of Michigan's quarterback.
Agreed.
It depends whether it's McNamara or whoever Jim Harbaugh has in there. It depends on the play of the Michigan quarterback. Now, Michigan State could sneak in there,
But I think with losing Kenneth Walker, that's going to hurt them because he was 85% of their offense.
Yeah.
So that's going to hurt Michigan State. I think if Michigan gets the quarterback play right, I think the Big Ten could get to. And then also, don't sleep on Maryland, because what Coach Locks is doing over there, and Tua's brother Talia, who had a big year last year, Talia's back.
Say the last name, Steve, real quick.
Talia Tungavailoa.
Tungavailoa.
Yeah. So
Tungavailoa. Got it.
So I Maryland to me is the sleeper of the Big Ten. They're kind of a sleeper. But if Michigan gets the quarterback right, I think Michigan hops in there.
I think the other thing about Michigan that's very interesting, and the reason why I have them in there, is because most of that team's coming back. That was a very young team.
It was.
Most of that team's coming back. I don't think they lost too many to transfers. You lost Aiden Hutchinson, which was a big deal. But when it came down to it, there was some other stuff on that defense going on. Exactly. Yeah. So I think and
then you lose Dax. You use Dax Hill, but Dax Hill was even more. Dax Hill was kind of a late bloomer anyway.
Yeah.
So Sean, let me ask you a question. Right? So you got Ohio State because you're the only one who gave two from the same conference, right? So
correct.
If you can only pick one, who would it be and who you're replacing them with?
Out of Ohio State and Michigan. If I put it in, if
you only pick one, and then who are you replacing them with? The other team with. Yeah.
This is tough. This is tough on Sean.
Ooh, that's not easy. I can't believe I'm about to say this. And I know in my heart this wouldn't happen. I think you got a better chance of two Big Ten teams making it than this team making it. But if I had to, I would say Michigan over Ohio State. And I would replace Ohio State with Notre Dame. Again, it won't happen.
It won't happen.
But
the only reason I would slightly be okay with Notre Dame is I feel like the new coach that's in there now, that was an assistant that got bumped up, I think he's going to have more of a way with those kids than what Brian Kelly did.
I agree. I
think he's going to have more of a connection with those guys. And let's be honest here. The only thing that's kind of held Notre Dame back, like Michigan, is quarterback. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame typically puts offensive linemen in the top 5 of the draft every year. They're going to typically have a running back go pro. They're going to typically have a receiver go pro. They're going to typically have a tight end go pro. They're going to typically have a defensive player go pro. So the only thing that has really hurt Notre Dame is a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The only last really good one that won them a championship was Tony Rice back in '91 with Lou Holtz. That was the last one.
Clausen didn't win them a championship?
No, Jimmy Clausen didn't win them one.
Okay.
Jimmy Clausen. So the last one was '91 Tony Rice with Lou Holtz. Now, Brady Quinn could have been something in 05 with Charlie Weiss, but no, not Brady Quinn either. But that's the thing with Notre Dame. And
It's funny because I thought Brady Quinn went to Boston College, but really who I was thinking of was Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan went to BC, came out in 08 out of BC.
Which is bananas that he came out in 08, because I think about Matt Ryan as being so old. But it's like he is, but like
Dallas passed up on Matt Ryan.
They sure did.
We're gonna rock with Tony Romo. All right.
Yeah. Matt Ryan was that guy.
Now, Steve, I'm gonna say this about the playoff, where I think honestly, like everybody's thinking we need to go to 8 teams. I think we need to get rid of divisions and conferences. Now, hear me out. So you take, okay, we got, for example, you got Texas and Oklahoma coming, right?
Yeah.
That's what, 16 teams now?
Yeah.
So you're gonna go 8-8? No. We need to go no conferences. Just like the Big 12 has it. You have to play 8 conference games. And I mean, you can keep your rivalry games in there, but you got to play 8. And in 2 years, you have to play like whoever you play this year, minus your 2 rivalries, you got to mix it up. So every year, you know, you're playing everybody. And the top 2 teams play for the ship.
Yeah, I agree.
Simple.
I'd be cool with that. I mean, I'll be cool with that. I mean, because at the end of the day, what we want as consumers of the sport is great football. Right. And what great football entails is you're playing against, you're not, because I don't like playing Austin Peay. Okay, I hate those games. I don't like playing Western Chicken State. Okay,
the Citadel, you know.
The Citadel, dude. It irks my nerve, and very few things irk my nerve. I'm an even keel person. Very few things irk my nerve. But one of the biggest things that irk my nerve is when I get a call from my supervisors telling me, Steven, we're playing the Citadel. It's an 11 o'clock game. I got to get up at 6, 7 o'clock and prepare myself to watch Bama stomp a 100-point mud hole in a team at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's hot and black. I got to sit through all that. I think that's my nerve.
For 4 quarters.
For 4
3
quarters.
hours.
Full 4 quarters.
3 hours.
And then I got to do a post-game show talking about the butt whooping for another 2 hours. If I got to take phone calls from fans, well, Steven, that wasn't fun. We played against the Citadel and we beat them by 300. The roll tide. We lost the game, Steven. Did somebody get hurt? Oh, Lord, the running back got hurt, Steven. I don't know what we gonna do. Saban shouldn't have played the guy. Roll tide anyway. I'm gonna get me a Jack and Coke, sit down and be with my wife for about a good 2 more hours. Like I do with those phone calls.
Fun fact, Steve, I think I'm gonna call into your show this week. I usually just listen, but I think I'm gonna call into your show.
I mean, call in. I mean, we encourage the conversation. I'm looking forward to this next segment of talk about this music here, and this unpopular food opinion.
Oh, okay. So for the record, we are all in agreement that the playoff would be better if there were no divisions.
Yeah,
just straight conference play.
Yep, I agree.
Like you get your couple of out of conference games because I like to see Bama, Texas, SC, Ohio State. Like those are good games, but
yeah,
like Bama, Western Kentucky, who gives a damn? Like LSU, Nicholls State, who cares?
Look. The only thing you hoping for in those games, please don't let the best player get hurt.
Right.
Please don't let the best player get hurt. Please.
So Steve, I'm almost afraid to ask Steve his unpopular music opinion because I don't think I'm prepared.
I don't think I'll ever talk music with Steve.
I'm
very interested to see what happens.
To be honest, when me and Steve were in the same car together, we're always listening to the Fray. It's just like straight up. The Fray.
Oh man.
Good times. Anyway, Steve, go ahead.
The most unpopular music opinion. Okay, here we go. So here we go. My most unpopular music opinion. The game is better than 50 Cent.
Oh, I did not expect this one.
Hey, bang.
I did not expect this one. Interesting.
Hold on, Steve. Hold that thought, because I've been wanting to do this for a minute.
Interesting. I'm personally not mad at it.
Yeah.
I mean, because I actually think the game is better than 50.
What did she say? We couldn't hear it.
We'll get back to that.
Okay, we'll come back to
Get
it.
out of here.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you because Sean's gonna go crazy. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go crazy
you are with enjoyment. So
with
anyway,
enjoyment.
the game is better than 50 Cent. Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bring it up. Really?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad
So
at
you
it at all.
telling like you're not right. No, you're not. So
I want to know that one so bad.
you think the game put out a better album than Get Rich or Die Trying?
I'm gonna say this. Get Rich or Die Trying was dope. But if you look at Games, LAX, the documentary, and it was LAX, the documentary, and he had one more. He had three really, really big ones. But I know Doctor's Advocate. You look at Doctor's Advocate, LAX, and documentary, those are three of the most critically acclaimed works, street heavy, hard. Hard. The Game can lyrically spit harder than 50.
I will always agree with that one.
He can lyrically spit harder than 50. If you go back and you really dissect the whole documentary album, there's not a single song on that album that you hit. I ain't feeling this. That whole album's hard. There are some tracks on 50 that you go, I rock with this, later. I rock with this, later. But Game, you're like, dang. Like every record, banger. The beat bangs, the lyrics bangs, the concept bangs, the conscious side bangs. You feel what Game puts out there. Sometimes with 50, I feel like you do it for the fluff of it. You feel what Game put out.
Steve, how long have we known each other?
A while.
I did not think Steve even listened to the Game.
I feel like that's a part of it. That's why I was like, I didn't expect this at all. But but not only does he listen to the Game, this man has dissected the Game.
A fan.
This is like, yeah, this is.
yo.
Dude,
Okay.
like Game.
So hold on. So question: Do you agree with Game's latest statement that he feels that he's better than Eminem?
Now that I disagree with.
Okay.
Eminem is on a whole different wavelength than Game is. Eminem has a further, longer catalog than Game.
What'd you say?
He's on a whole different wavelength.
Logic with a dictionary.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, are you talking
It's
about
not
Eminem?
a compliment, Steve.
He's talking
It's
about
not a
Eminem. Is
compliment.
Logic
I'm
with a
talking about
dictionary.
Logic with a dictionary.
It's hard to compare Eminem to somebody who came after him, Lionel. I don't really think that holds up very well.
Okay, well,
It's not a good comparison.
Okay, you got a point. I don't think Eminem is that good, personally. He don't hit home for me.
Do you think Game is better than Eminem?
I don't know. I had to. Steve will have to send me 20 Game tracks to listen to. That's what's gonna have to happen.
All right, I got you.
Steve will have to send me 20 Game tracks.
I would also like that same list because I have no problem being like, you know what? Let me see what Game's got cooking up. That would be.
All right, Steve,
I ain't mad at it.
I'm finna hit you hard, Steve. You ready?
Okay.
This is a start bench cut, the Frey edition. You ready?
Okay.
Start bench cut. Cable car.
Okay.
Find me how to say
Okay.
it.
So what's the question?
Cable car. You found me how to save a life. Start bench cut.
Okay. Start cable car. Binge, You Found Me, cut How to Save a Life.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Sean, do you agree with that?
He said start
Car.
Start cable car.
Bench, You Found Me, and cut How to Save a Life.
I flip How to Save a Life and You Found Me.
What?
But cable car, yeah, I feel like that's definitely the start there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we listen to more than rap on But Peep This podcast.
That we do.
We do. We just talk about rap a lot. We do. But that album that Sean told us to listen to, the very first episode, that ain't it.
What album?
Death Vice, Death Grip.
Death Grips? Oh no, listen, we ain't doing that to Death Grip.
Trash.
No, it ain't trash. That ain't trash. I'm gonna tell you right now. Nah, hold on. Time out. Time out. First off, because wait a minute. What we're not about to sit here and just say the music ain't it just because you don't like it. That's not happening. Because I'm gonna tell you this. I have showed Death Grips to at least 10 different people of varying different music groups. And out of those 10, I would say about 8 of them were like, yeah, I see what's happening here. Just because you don't like it don't mean
8 out of
trash.
10, that's not impressive.
8 out of 10 is not impressive.
No.
If I show somebody 8 things, 8 out of 10 is not impressive, Lionel. 20%, that's not a low enough number for
that's
you.
That's 20% that don't agree.
Lionel, you trying to compare 50-50 to 20%. That's not.
Oh, really? Honestly, Sean, I was just having fun. I really don't think it.
That's fine. You don't like it, but it ain't bad. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like objectively, it's not bad.
Okay.
You might not like it. You might not vibe with the music, but it ain't bad.
Steve, what do you use the music stream?
What I use to music stream?
Yeah.
Spotify.
So go on Spotify.
No,
I ain't even got to send it. It's very easy to look up. It's called Death Grips. Well, the band's called Death Grips. The album's called The Money Store. It's legitimately one of the best things I've ever listened to.
And you listen to that on your way to work. And when you get to work, you call me.
Okay.
I don't know about on your way to work. What do you?
From the M to Pelham is about an hour 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
That's about how long that album is. Listen to it all the way through. Give it a chance, and then you call me.
Okay.
The album is 41 minutes and 22 seconds long.
It ain't it.
It is very good.
You're gonna make it to 11, and then you're gonna be like, man, I got to turn this off.
Again, it's very different than what you've ever listened to. I promise you that. It is not. It's not a when I told Lionel about it, I really wasn't talking to Lionel. I was talking to everybody else because I knew Lionel wouldn't like it. This is no possible way because Lionel's a very basic bitch of a person. So therefore, he's not going to have any level of understanding when it comes to the complexities of the music itself, right? This just not going to happen.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But if Steve don't like it, you gonna call Steve a basic bitch too?
It depends on the reasons why. You're just saying it's not it. You haven't given me a reason yet as to why you don't like it.
I can't rock with it.
You haven't given me a reason yet as to why you don't like it. You're just saying that ain't it.
It ain't it.
But
so you gotta give me a little bit more than that.
It's all over the place.
It is all over the place. That's part of the reason why it's great.
Favorite year of music?
That's part of the reason why you like it.
It's legitimately Steve, and I will stand on this for anybody who listens to Death Grips and Money Store. It is literally the most catchy thing I've ever listened to in my life. I literally walk throughout my day and I will hear the choruses and the different things going. It is the most catchy earworm creative music I've ever heard in my life. I've never had anything just stick with me so much. It's crazy.
That's called I think that's a seizure that you're having.
No, it's not a seizure. Although I'm not gonna lie to you. When System Blower comes on, I might as well be having a seizure because I get fucking down.
The album sounds like what I believe is a seizure.
He goes. Here's a perfect description of this album. So for System Blower has 2 samples attributed to it. One is Serena Williams, and one is a train station.
Oh God.
They sampled the sound of Serena Williams swinging the racket and
So
and
basically
a
all the
fucking
grunts.
locomotive.
So grunts and a train. All right.
No, more like swinging the racket, like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
that sound plus a fucking
Okay.
train. It is what is closest associated with industrial experimental music, and experimental it is. Don't look up the lyrics though; it might turn you off from it. Just listen to it. It's a very listening. It's the same way I feel about "Die Lit" by Playboi Carti, but that's a conversation for another day.
But so Lionel, best year of music in your opinion?
2012.
2012.
I think mine
We
was 2016.
talked about it. 2012 is mine. Sean's was
2016. Yeah.
Well, think about 2012, Steve. We had 2 Chainz, Based on a True Story.
Yeah.
Bill come out.
Yeah.
Cruel Summer come out.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj, Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Like all the music I made you listen to.
Wow. Okay. 2012. So I'm gonna ask this.
2016, you had
I think
Blind by Frank Ocean, We Got It From Here, Thank You for Your Service, Tribe Called Quest, Coloring Book, Life of Pablo, Solange's album, Lemonade, Atrocity. Oh my God, I didn't know Atrocity Exhibition came out during that time. Fantastic album.
Didn't
Malibu,
Channel Orange come out in 2012?
Channel Orange, I think it was 2011. 99% by K Chandra, fantastic. Blank Face LP, Schoolboy Q, fantastic. I'll even say this: Dangerous Woman album by Ariana Grande, fantastic. Isla, Kevin Gates, fantastic. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in there too. Since we're
what about you, Steve? Go ahead.
Yes, so Steve, what's yours?
so. Wasn't 2014 the year where we got K Dot's To Pimp a Butterfly and Forest Hill Drive by J. Cole? Was that 2014?
It should have been.
That's your favorite year in hip hop?
Huh?
That's your favorite year in hip hop? 14?
Well, no, that's not necessarily my favorite year. So my favorite year in hip hop was actually 06.
To Pimp a Butterfly officially came out in 2015.
Okay. So 06 was my favorite year where you had D4L, because D4L and Fable really popping. So you had D4L in 06.
You did not just say Fable.
Fable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fable.
Fable.
Yeah.
You're always looking for Barbara.
Barbara.
For Barbara.
I forgot about D4L.
That's all that man would do is yell.
Yeah. So you had D4L. This is when Lil Jon, Snap Your Fingers from the East Side Boys. So that was D4L, Lil Jon. T-Pain was really popular at that point because T-Pain had Bartender, In Love with a Stripper. So T-Pain, man. T.I. was just hitting with King because King was just starting to really hit then. Yeah. Yeah, T.I. Yeah, 06.
2006.
Okay.
It's funny that you bring up I'm in love with a stripper.
Yeah.
All right. So when
where's this going?
Me and Mel started dating,
where's this going?
he was like, I got a new phone and I just handed her my phone. I was like, hey, put your information in my new phone. And she was like, oh, I get to pick a ringtone? And I was like, yeah, whatever music I got on my phone, pick, whatever. And she was like, oh, okay. So she picked it. I didn't think anything of it. I thought she would just pick like some random like default ringtone, And later that day, she called, like, I was in my classroom and I'm in love with a stripper is playing. And I'm like, is that my phone ringing? And I look and it's Melanie. And I'm like, she answered the phone and she's dying. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it.
I'm gonna leave it.
I left it until I got an iPhone, until I joined, the real world.
Until you join the cult. Until you join the cult.
So I drank the Kool-Aid.
Drank the Kool-Aid, join the cult, all that stuff.
Now her ringtone's like Stargaze or some stupid shit like that.
Hey, so my thing of T-Pain brought back a memory. Golly, Steven.
Whoa. T-Pain was wild in high school though.
Yeah.
You know who else like don't get the notoriety of being like big in 06, 07?
Yeah.
Plies.
Right.
I don't like talking
Sean,
about
seriously.
Plies. I don't like talking about Plies.
Sean,
This is not
Sean.
my favorite thing to do.
Sean, if you never trusted me on anything, go back and listen to Plies' first 3 mixtapes.
You want me to not only listen to one Plies project, you want me to listen to 3?
I want you to listen to his first 3. Do you remember how crazy the city went, Steve, when All Black came out?
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
remember Dr. Chuma not letting us wear all black to school after that song came out?
I remember that. That started the uniform craze right there.
Yeah, it did.
So you talking about
Hey,
100% the real
hey.
testament and definition of a real?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those 3 right there?
Hey. Remember Air when the Busted Baby series came out and Miss Trimmer stopped all the girls from singing that?
You want me to listen to 3 hours of Plies music?
Yes. Sean, you listen.
3 hours?
Sean, trust me.
Dude.
Hey, Sean, you're right. It's boy fly, man, fly.
Okay,
baby.
I tell you what, Sean.
God.
Which album has Plenty Money and All Black on it? Look that up.
I got plenty of money. I got plenty of money.
I can't believe
What's
you
in
want to
my
listen to
pocket,
3 hours of Plies
dog?
music. You gotta understand, I was in Louisiana when Plies was around. Like, I'm aware. I'll put it to you this way. I was familiar with Plies to the point to when Ran Off on the Plug went viral.
Ritz-Carlton.
Ritz-Carlton, whatever the fuck it
Ritz-Carlton?
was. Again, when that song went viral, I was like, when the fuck did this guy come back? What the hell is this shit? Where did he come from? Well, I thought we were done. What happened?
Hold on, because I'm about to add all Plies to one playlist right now because I gotta take that. Mel, we listening to Plies on the way to work tomorrow, baby.
Oh God.
Is this part of the show?
You said all black and what?
ESPN got nothing on this mess, Pat.
All black ain't
telling you.
on none of these albums.
All Black is probably on Goon Affiliated. The album Goon Affiliated.
2010?
I don't know the year.
Yes, Sean, that's one. Goon Affiliated should be one.
Oh, good Lord.
Read that one. And
That's a good
The
Lord.
Realist. Listen to those 2.
One or for the realist, 1 or 2?
1. 2008.
It don't 2008.
The Realist.
Oh yeah.
You listen to those 2, and we're gonna talk tomorrow about it.
I gotta do it tonight?
You gonna yes.
Oh my God.
We listened to your rant about Alabama, how it was so bad. You owe this to me.
Hey, this is funny. I mean,
we did something that Alabama fans don't do, Steve. Am I right? We listen.
Yeah, y'all read too. I ain't lying about that one. You also made sure you got married outside. You know what? Let me not
I ain't
That's
gonna lie. I'm shocked how my thing about the game surprised y'all.
I feel like it's not necessarily that I'm totally disagreeing with you. I think it's more of I just did not expect you to come on here and say that the game is better than 50 Cent.
50, like
I've never heard anybody bring that up. which is dope.
So-
That's exactly why we brought you on here.
Right.
But like, it's
So-
still like
so-
it's still there. Like,
Oh, Sean, pick up your mic. I'm gonna lean in because my mic is broken. So, Steve,
lies, dude.
when we want to put some emphasis on stuff, we lean in and we speak loud to the mic so people can hear it. Okay.
Okay.
So I said last week that we don't bring scrubs on But Peep This, the podcast.
Okay.
Steve, as you can hear, Steve is a very, very humble dude. Once again, we're not. If you come at Steve with the Alabama slander, he does it for a living, people. The man has been on national TV multiple times to the point where it's like, oh, Steve's on the SEC network again. Like it's another day at the damn office.
Notice how I didn't try to refute anything he said because I knew anything I would have
It's
tried to refute what he
factual.
said is true.
Actual factuals came from Stephen M. I'm not gonna tell you what the M is for, but Stephen M. Smith. You know, yes, I am. Because I've known Steve for 10 plus years. I swear I thought his middle name was Michael. And it's not.
I think when you told me his name,
Michael.
I think you originally told me Stephen Michael Smith.
It's not Michael.
I mean, but that actually sounds dope, though.
What is your middle name, though? If it's not Michael.
It's Marquise.
Marquise. Stephen Marquise Smith.
But
I like it, though. I like it.
I thought for this whole time I've known him, his middle name was Michael. It's not Michael. He told me the other day, like, my middle name is not Michael. What are you talking about? I was like, what? Yes, it is.
it's
No,
hey,
it's not.
hey, L, man, L, it's not your fault, man. Me, I guess I never liked using my middle name a lot, so I just kept it an M, and that had so many people in suspense because I can't tell you how many people I went to college with would ask me the same question, like, bro, like, we've known each other for like 5 years. What's your middle name, man? I just don't use you say M, like, what does the M stand for? And does it stand for Mitchell, Malcolm, Mike? What does the M stand for? And I tell them, like, what? Get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the M stands for Marquis.
Stand for Marquise.
The M might as well just stand for Mary.
Stephen
Might as
Marion.
well. So before I let y'all go, I guess I'll tell y'all what Mel said her unpopular opinion was.
Please.
What?
Because I'm going to tell you, this first song on this Plies album is too long. But anyway, we'll get there in a minute. The whole time.
What song? Oh, you're listening to me and my goons. Bro, that's one of them.
Oh, my
Bro.
God.
Mel said
Dude.
that the best hip hop album of all time is Nas's Illmatic.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that's any fucking question.
I think
Hey,
and
hey.
are crazy.
Hey now, when Nas said, when I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus, I was a whole bar.
I mean, finally pulled it back and saw 3 bullets caught up in the chamber, and now I'm jetting to the building lobby, and it was full of children probably couldn't see as high as I be.
I don't even look at Nas as a rapper. That's a poet. That ain't even a rapper. That's a poet.
Nas is Illmatic. So if it's not Nas is Illmatic, because I have an answer. If it's not Nas is Illmatic, but you're not gonna like that answer either. But so what is it? If it's not Nas is Illmatic?
I'm gonna table that one because that's a whole episode.
Because if you don't have an answer for it, then how is it not?
My opinion,
Yeah.
the best hip hop album of all time,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
is Graduation.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
You know
Oh
what?
my God.
We gotta leave that one alone because my second,
Graduation.
if you asking me for my second, it's Mad Villainy with MF Doom and Madlib. If you asking me after that, it's Mad Villainy.
I was gonna say my favorite rap album was by the Wu-Tang Clan.
I mean, Into the 36 Chambers, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when you got Method Man, Redman, ODB, Skeezer, Reza, Cash Ruling, man, Steel Boots, man. Wu-Tang, no?
Mad Villainy is it. I wouldn't even call it underrated. Most people have it high. I know Lionel probably hasn't even listened to it.
I think I was in Wu-Tang Clan. They just had me way in the back.
I was in Wu-Tang. I was all the way in the back.
I mean, Wu-Tang had about 100 members, but you could only name 8. Like, I'm way in the back of Wu-Tang. Like, yeah, what's up, man? Steve, Wu-Tang, I just got signed. Cash Rules, back here. Yeah.
I'm on just
Rolling dice, back here.
But no, we can table it till next week. Because
I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. When I woke,
I spent that on a necklace.
I told God I'll be back in a second. What?
I sipped the Don P watching Gandhi, jotting in my book of rhymes all the words past the margin. Oh, like for real?
Mel just said you're not a rapper. Shut the hell up. Yes, you did. I heard you.
It's a very not Mel thing to say. I don't even know where that would even come
I
from.
don't know.
That sounds like you saying that.
Unpopular food opinion, though.
Unpopular food opinion? Let's rock with it.
Go ahead, Steve. Give me one.
Unpopular food opinion. Okay, so
Supplies back on so I can go to bed.
mashed potatoes should not be served at Thanksgiving.
See, this is why we bring you on the show. I love this opinion you bring up because we've been talking about like foods we like and dislike. You took the whole like dinner conversation. You're wrong, but I like it. I respect
Absolutely,
it.
you're wrong.
I respect it, but you're wrong. Like,
I'm questioning if I even know you.
why are we removing mashed potatoes from the Thanksgiving
what?
dinner?
Look.
And what do you replace it with?
Yeah, what are you replacing it with?
Just a potato?
Okay. You replace the mashed potatoes with sweet potato casserole.
Sweet potato casserole is already on the tables.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the But Peep This podcast of the week. What are we talking about?
When have you not had sweet potato pie at Thanksgiving?
I had sweet potato pie at Thanksgiving. I'm saying mashed potato. Look, think about this. You've already got your mac and cheese, right? You've got your ham, your turkey, your dressing, your beans, whether it's green beans, lima beans, sweet peas, your collard greens, or cabbage, or whatever the greens you want to have in there. You got it with or without cranberry sauce. So you got the cranberry sauce in there.
Add the cranberry sauce.
Mashed potatoes has never, this is in my opinion, has never felt like a Thanksgiving meal. Now, mashed potatoes, to me, if you're doing like a barbecue, 4th of July, you can slide some mashed potatoes in there. If you're doing a family reunion ordeal, you can slide some mashed potatoes in there. But for Thanksgiving, mashed potatoes, and I'm not trying to throw Squanto and them pilgrims in there, but mashed potatoes to me, mashed potatoes to me, it is not set.
How you gonna diss Squanto on But Peep This podcast?
That's almost as bad as my damn what was that quarterback that broke his leg that I said last week? Joe Theismann. That's almost as bad as that.
Sean, here's the name for this episode: Squanto and the First Thanksgiving.
I don't know. I feel like we might. We don't make money off of this, but I feel like we close that door completely.
Squanto? How you gonna diss Squat, bro?
Squanto.
I'm not dissing Squanto. I'm just saying I'm not bringing him into the conversation.
Sean.
So we replace the mashed potatoes with the sweet potato casserole.
With sweet potatoes, that's already on the table.
That don't. So can we? You replace the mashed potatoes with something sweet. I feel like that's not.
Okay.
Conducive.
Okay. Well, let me think. So replacing mashed potatoes here. Okay.
You gotta pull something that's not
You
at
gotta come better
Thanksgiving.
than that.
Like we gotta pull something that's not at Thanksgiving if you don't have this.
Okay. We can replace mashed potatoes, baked chicken.
Another meat?
Think about this stuff. Think about this stuff. Think about this stuff. Think about this stuff. Think about this stuff.
Such conviction. Baked chicken.
Think about this though. Think about this though. You have ham, which at times can be high in cholesterol. People want to keep their cholesterol in order. So then if you don't want the ham, you can go with a turkey. But you got some people that may not be turkey people. You got baked chicken. Who don't like chicken? Who don't like baked chicken, huh? Baked chicken.
Okay, we're replacing mashed potatoes with baked chicken. Oh no.
Give me a second.
I've never seen Lional like this. It's been a while.
I'm legitimately about to cry.
Baked chicken. It's a baked chicken. Who don't like baked chicken? Huh? Huh?
I'm telling the Blue Ridge gang on you.
Baked chicken.
Oh my God.
Bro, when we call in this week, we're gonna be like, hey Steve, off the football stuff. Why don't you tell the people how you gonna replace mashed potato with baked chicken?
Either you telling your fans or I'm telling them.
Somebody gotta tell them though. Baked chicken? Who don't like baked chicken? Huh? Huh? Baked chicken. Oh man.
You taking mashed potatoes off the table for another meat. And baked chicken at that.
What is it, baked chicken? And mind you, with the whole thing behind of, oh, we're trying to manage cholesterol here.
You added
We added chicken.
My head hurts. I can't see. I can't believe you just.
I also have a different unpopular food opinion since we're opening up the conversation to like dinners and stuff, but I'm gonna save it for next week. I think it's time to be done this week.
We
gotta.
About it.
So as customary for all of our episodes, Steve, the floor is yours. Talk about what you want to talk about. Plug yourself, whatever you want to do. It's your time.
I mean, I had fun. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with you guys today, and like I mentioned, Lional and I have been having conversations about him doing this project for quite some time now, and for it to happen, like you two are doing an unbelievable job. Just looking at you two, I mean, this is something that, I mean, the world needs to hear this. I mean, this is awesome. I've really enjoyed myself. Tomorrow, I'll be back on, in my own words, 3 days a week. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday on YouTube, 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time, Touchdown Alabama magazine. So, hey, if you feel like giving a call reminding me of baked chicken, hey, give me a call, remind me of baked chicken. Because there are going to be some people that's going to call me, probably talking about the McDonald's thing that they ordered. So, y'all get in there and join the other outstanding callers with me and have some fun with that. But hey, I've had fun and engaged now, so gonna be a part of that life, and that's gonna be a fun life as well. But hey guys, this is fun. I appreciated this.
Sean, you next. Like we waiting on. Like you need to do something about that.
All right, that's gonna be our show for this week.
So hey, hold on.
Here's the But Peep This podcast. You know,
Steve, somebody wanted me to ask you if you're gonna have baked chicken at your wedding.
I'm gonna have baked chicken. Quick. Oh man, I'm gonna have baked chicken. It might be on the menu for real.
Because I will tell you the truth, Steve. If I come to your wedding and there's baked chicken there, I don't think I'm gonna be able to stay. I'm about to cry now because
No, there will not be baked chicken at the wedding.
Back tears because I've never laughed this hard in my life. Oh my God, I needed that. Like, that's gonna get me through the week, bro. That's
Oh man.
Let them know where they can find you at, Steve.
Man, all right. When I'm not discussing chicken matters, the people can find me on Facebook. They can find me on Facebook, Stephen M. Smith on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at Coaching M. Smith on Twitter. I try to coach some kids down here at Francis, man. At Coaching M. Smith on Twitter and touchdownalabama.com. They can read all the articles right there on what's going on with Alabama football as we just recently recapped the NFL draft.
Hey man, it was a real honor to have you on the show.
Shit, absolutely.
Like, you come back whenever you want. You know, we're gonna definitely plug you in during football season. You might have to do a little segment with you.
No doubt about it.
But thanks a lot for coming on. We know you're a busy man. You know, send our love to the fiance. You know, thank y'all for rocking with us. This is But Peep This the podcast. I want to cry again.
Oh man.
Oh, well, you know, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Lionel, that's Steve, that's Sean. This is But Peep This the podcast. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah. See y'all.